not gonna
heard, have
talk
I?
fast to me. I'm from Boston.
Experience
Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to not the Iris podcast, not predicting Tranquility. It is the Tranquility Bracketology MEGACAST. It is a joint podcast between myself and Bowsy here from our respective shows, bringing the most talented, the best, two people that we chose to the table to help us predict and break down every match in the upcoming playoff season. We're gonna go through each tier one at a time today, and we are also welcoming some guests in to help us break down individual tiers. These are people who are not actively on the content team in all but one case currently, but tonight for EU, we're going to do Harmony EU first, and we're bringing in Unchanged. How are you doing, Unchanged?
I'm doing good. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm ready for everyone in EU to hate my predictions.
Gotcha. Understood. Well, for what it's worth, we get the hate every season. We're just used to it. So, and it's very normal for us. But we're going to go ahead and get the show on the road, guys. Like I said, and we'll start it off again in the EU Harmony tier. We're going to be breaking down the bracket bit by bit. Stay tuned throughout the night as we continue to break everything down. And as a reminder, we also have our weekly montage, our comms check, and our drawing at the end of the night as well. So you're not going to want to miss any of it, guys. Stay tuned throughout the night. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up, but we're going to start it off again in the EU Harmony tier. And we're going to kick it over first and foremost to Bowsy, who's going to break down his picks in the first couple rounds.
Absolutely. So starting off with the upper bracket matches here in Harmony EU. Our first match, Hellhounds versus Venice Vipers, which is a rematch of the week one matchup. I'm picking Venice Vipers to win 3-1 over Hellhounds in that matchup, which is kind of the exact same score that they faced off in the first week. And then our second match is Aesir versus Paid to Win. I have Paid to Win winning in a 3-2 matchup. You don't want to underestimate Aesir in this tournament, but I still think Paid to Win are going to be a little bit better. Now moving on to the next matchup here is Apollo versus Venice Vipers. I have Apollo winning that in a clean 3-0 sweep. Venice Vipers unfortunately will be knocked down to the lower bracket. And our final match here in the upper bracket, apart from the one that determines who's going to be going on to the championship bracket, is Paid to Win versus Feeders United. I have Feeders United winning that match again in a clean sweep 3-0 over Paid to Win.
So we definitely jumped out a little bit ahead there, Bowsy. We want to go back. We want to go down to we were supposed to go down to the lower bracket first.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's my fault for not explaining things. And then it's also my fault that my OBS is consistently freezing right now, which is another problem on its own right. So I apologize for all the frame drops that you guys are experiencing. But I'm working through that right now.
So you want me to go to the lower bracket now, or
yes? So I'm gonna get your Apollo. I'm gonna get your Paid to Win. We'll call you a little bit ahead here. But again, right now I am waiting for my my PC to let me do things. Currently I cannot. So bear with me for just a moment, y'all. Appreciate your patience as we're getting through the technical issues. So you had Apollo there, and let's go to your lower bracket match: Thunderbolt Rewind versus A10. Kick us off there.
All right, so Thunderbolt Rewind versus A10 Esport. Obviously, A10 coming off a really good stage number 2, but they unfortunately lost to Orthus. That is why I'm picking Thunderbolt Rewind to win 3-2 in that matchup. And then our final matchup in the first round of a lower bracket, our first week of the bracket stage, Orthus versus EU Scrimbucks, which is going to be an interesting match. I have EU Scrimbucks winning that 3-1 over Orthus, so definitely a lot of interesting matches here in EU in the first week of EU Harmony tier. It's going to be interesting to see where they go.
All right. So apparently my PC cannot handle this as well as I was hoping. So I am currently dealing with some awesome little OBS freezes, and I apologize for everybody who's watching this having to witness that. So, but I am working through it, and I appreciate your patience in the interim while we're getting through that here. And then Bowsy, we do have also, let's get to that second part of that EU bracket there. the Thunderbolt Rewind versus Acer match.
Sure thing. So the Thunderbolt Rewind versus Acer match, I have Acer winning that 3-2. They obviously are a dark horse and have taken Thunderbolt Rewind down before, so I believe that they can do it again. And the final match is EU Scrimbucks versus Hellhounds, which I have EU Scrimbucks winning that currently 3-2. I think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, EU Scrimbucks having a lot of different things going on, but I feel like they are still a strong team and that they can take Hellhounds down.
All right. So I am unfortunately dealing with more technical issues than normal tonight, guys. I apologize as I'm working through that. So you got some interesting matchups there. Do you want to elaborate a little bit? Paid to Win versus Acer. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that one? That one, Acer, a lot of people high up on. Paid to Win, not the best stage 2. What's your feeling on that one?
Yeah, definitely. Acer, I really started to notice, is sort of like a very elaborate dark horse. They are definitely a team that you want to be fearing. They obviously have taken big wins in stage number 1. They won against Thunderbolt Rewind and Orthus, both in map 5 situations. And then they ended up going undefeated in stage number 2, only dropping, I believe, 3 maps, 2 to Orthus and 1 to Hellhounds. So I feel like they could be bringing it very close with the top dogs. They just can't clutch it out when it matters the most. So I think Acer is possible to take it up to Pay to Win, but I don't think they're going to be able to get that clutch factor when they need it the most. So I chose Pay to Win to win.
Gotcha. All right. I think we've stabilized a little bit here. Train. Start us off at the top.
All right. So I'm going to start by agreeing with Bowsy, which is never a good sign, but we'll see how it goes. So first match, Hellhounds versus Venice Vipers. I gave it to Venice Vipers 3-1. I'm a big Venice Vipers stan, and I think my bracket will reflect that. Next match right underneath, we've got Acer versus Paid to Win. I actually agree that it'll be a pretty close game, but I trust Acer maybe a little bit more than most other people. So I'm going Acer 3-1, or 3-2 rather, over Paid to Win. I just kind of think that clutch factor will happen round 1. Going down to the first round of the lower bracket here, we've got Thunderbolt Rewind and A10 Esports. I gave it to A10, 3-0 over Thunderbolt Rewind. I think A10 is kind of criminally underseeded at a 10 seed down there. Right underneath, again, another clean 3-0, this time in favor of EU Scrimbucks over Orthus. EU Scrimbucks, another criminally underseeded team, in my opinion, here for this first round.
All right, let's go now to your lower bracket next round matches here. So you're going to have that first one will be A10, and they'd be taking on the loser of that first round match, Paid to Win. Who do you have coming on top there?
Again, I'm giving it to A10. This is, I think, a bit of a spicy pick, but I took A10 with a 3-1 victory over Paid to Win in the second round of lower bracket here.
I would definitely say that is on the spicier side, but I respect it. What about EU Scrimbucks versus Hellhounds?
Again, Hellhounds a great team. I'm taking Scrimbucks 3-2, barely squeaking by the second round here.
All right, we will come back and take a look at the rest of your matchups in a little bit here. PDK. All right, let's start off.
So first,
let's go ahead. Sorry.
my fault. So first match we have the Vipers versus Hellhounds. I'm in agreement with both Train and Balzi. I think Vipers. I have Vipers winning 3-1. And then for Acer, versus Pay to Win. I agree as well with Train. It's going to be a map 5, and I also agree with him with the winner. I have Acer. I don't know how to say that. Winning against Pay to Win. And then for Thunderbolt Rewind versus A10 Esport, I have Thunderbolt Rewind winning 3-0.
All right.
And then for Orthus versus EU Scrimbucks, I think kind of a general consensus. I have EU Scrimbucks winning, but I have them winning 3-0.
All right. And let's get to your next losers bracket, or lower bracket, pardon me. Nobody's losers here, except for the losers. Thunderbolt Rewind versus Paid to Win.
I have Paid to Win, winning 3-1 against Thunderbolt Rewind.
All right. And then your final match there, EU Scrimbucks taking on the Hellhounds.
I have EU Scrimbucks winning 3-0.
All right, the EU Scrimbucks going through everybody's bracket so far. The question is will that change with Unchanged? And Unchanged.
I highly doubt anything will change. In that. I may be a little bit biased, obviously.
Let's start at the top
yeah.
though with Hellhounds taking on Vipers. What do you got there?
I'm contrary to everyone. I have Hellhounds winning 3-2 in that matchup myself. I'm the lone, I'm the dark horse, I guess, on this one, or the black sheep. Then the next map I have, or the next matchup, I also to go with Train and PDK, I have Aesir winning. I feel like that run that they had in stage 2 is just so I have them 3-2. As far as lower bracket, I have to agree with Train a little bit that especially after watching the feature match, A10 I think do not deserve to be in 10th the way that they are. They played really well, even though they got furrowed. They played really well. They had great moments in that. So I have them 3-2 against Thunderbolt Rewind, and I then have the Orphus Scrimbucks matchup. I currently have Scrimbucks winning 3-2, which is the same score that happened the last time we played them. We only played them a few weeks ago, so
Right.
I don't think a lot's going to have changed since then. My
A10 versus
next,
Paid to Win.
A10 Paid to Win. I do have A10 losing here. I'm not quite as hype as Train is, thinking that they'll make it all the way through. Unfortunately, Paid to Win does have a very strong lineup themselves. A10 have shown that they're shaky, so I have them 3-2 or 3-1. I'm not quite sure how many maps are going to take off Paid to Win. I think it's going to be a mental battle for A10 to try and get through that match. I then have my Scrimbucks, again, a little bit of bias, obviously, but I feel like against the Venice Vipers, from what I've seen of my team and how we match up against their comps that they play in particular, I do have us winning 3-0.
All right.
Then it's the upper bracket, Apollo versus Hellhounds. Then
We'll hold off on that. We'll hold off on that.
Okay.
Bowsy got ahead of the game. Bowsy's just the king of go-getters, and that's
Sorry.
My bad.
I misinterpreted what you told us before the
Hey,
show
you
started.
know what? For what it's worth, I personally blame Swifters. So, anyways,
I
Blame
agree.
Swifters. Hashtag blame Swifters in the chat.
I usually blame Capital, but I'll blame Swifters
Yeah,
this
I
time.
think
Me
we're gonna all
too.
blame Swifters on this one. So, all right, guys, let's get to. Oh, look, he's in Twitch chat. He's in Twitch chat. Where the hell are you, Swifters?
They put it in the channel. Do you not see?
No, I have the Discord closed. Discord's closed. I have to close it because my frame dropping. Oh my god, you were eating dinner. Okay, that's fair. I'm only
Not okay.
It's it's fine. I'm not mad or anything. It's okay. We'll see more of Swifters
I'm
later.
furious, in fact.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. EU guys, first round for me, Hellhounds versus Vipers. I am with Unchanged in this one. I'm really high up on the Hellhounds. I think they are a good-looking team. I think Vipers, while good at times, I feel like they've been inconsistent throughout the season. It was nice to see them pick up a nice win over Paid to Win, but I do think Hellhounds have been a little bit better as of late than the Vipers, so I'm going to give a shot to Hellhounds on this one here. Acer versus Paid to Win, and by the way, that score 3-2. I'm going to say that's going to be a really close one. For Acer versus Paid to Win, I am extremely high up on Acer right now. I think they look really strong. They played really well in stage 2, and Paid to Win, really rough stage here. I think Paid to Win is a good team, but I'm worried a little bit about where they're at as a team right now compared to what we saw at the very beginning of this season. So I'm gonna go with Acer winning, with Acer winning that one. I'm gonna go 3-0. I think Acer sweep them. Thunderbolt Rewind taking on A10. You guys know me. I am a huge A10 stan. We've been over this a million times. Nero is probably one of my favorite players in all of Harmony EU because Nero is insane. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, Nero's Reinhardt it makes me, a fellow Reinhardt player, it makes me happy. It makes me feel feelings. That said, I am also a huge fan of Thunderbolt Rewind. When Thunderbolt Rewind are on their game and are playing in the right roles for the right people, because they like to kind of mismatch thing and kind of move things around and stuff like that. I got to go with Thunderbolt Rewind. I'm a big fan of what they're currently doing here, despite my love of A10. you know. And then I'm going to go with probably the shocker of the tournament here. I have Orthus taking out EU Scrimbucks. Now, you might be wondering why I'm doing this. Some people might say it's for reaction. Some people might say it's for the content. Some people might say it's all of those things. And the answer to that is it might be. Is it for hate clicks? It might be. Is it to further an agenda? Yes. No.
Yes.
In reality, I think we're looking at EU Scrimbucks has been getting better this stage after what happened last stage. Orthus, however, has also been getting better. It was 3-2 last time, and I'm gonna go ahead. I think EU Scrimbucks wins 8 out of 10 times, but I'm going on a hunch, and I cannot shake this hunch. And I'm sure Unchanged is just hating me a little bit, but at the same time, I don't blame him. And I don't blame Elixir, and I don't for hating me in the chat either. But I have this feeling, and I'm going to ride it out, and I'll take it to the grave with me.
I thought we were friends, dude.
Just because we're friends doesn't mean I can't hit you with a cold, hard truth there, buddy. All right.
Wow.
All right. And then my next lower bracket match is Thunderbolt Rewind versus Paid to Win. Again, I'm high up on Thunderbolt Rewind, and I think Paid to Win is not in the best place right now. I'm going to go with Thunderbolt. I'm going to keep riding that train a little bit longer. Orthus versus Venice Vipers. I'm going to, again, ride the Orthus train here. I might be crazy. People have said worse things on this podcast than that. But I just have this feeling about Orthus right now. I think they're turning it on at the right time. With Dr. Shark on that team now, I think the potential is really real with this team. I do think this is funny, and this might sound ridiculous. I think Scrimbucks versus Orthus could be the lower bracket finals, and I don't think anybody would have blushed at it. But they play each other in the first round of lower bracket, and that's kind of criminal in my opinion. So just my 2 cents on that. Anyways, so I'm going with Orthus there. So, all right, that is the first couple of rounds there. Bowsy, we're going to kick it back to you. We're going to start with your lower bracket rounds here. Aesir versus Venice Vipers. Who do you have coming out on that, and what's the score?
I have Aesir coming out of that with a 3-2 score over Venice Vipers. Again, Aesir is a very big dark horse, and I think they can make a very deep run in these playoffs. The other match, EU Scrimbucks versus Paid to Win. I have EU Scrimbucks winning that in a clean 3-0 sweep to knock out Paid to Win from the tournament.
All right, can I get that first result one more time? Because my computer decided to be a very, very good time to not cooperate here. So
no worries. Aesir 3-2 over Venice Vipers.
And Scrimbucks over Paid to Win. Got it. All right, and let's go to your bracket finals here. Start off in that upper bracket. You got Apollo taking on Feeders United. What's your thinking?
Apollo versus Feeders United. I am saying that Apollo wins in a 3-0 sweep to get that extra bye in the finals bracket. I think Apollo is a very strong force this season, and no one really can catch them except for one other team. And then on the second match, which is Aesir versus EU Scrimbucks, I have EU Scrimbucks making the championship bracket in a 3-1 score over Aesir.
So you have Scrimbucks making the run out of their 3-1 over Aesir. Gotcha. All right. You want to elaborate that on that just a touch more here?
Definitely. Again, I've mentioned it before. Aesir, the really good stage number 2, showing their sort of prowess a little bit late in this season, but I still feel like they're lacking that clutch factor. And when you're going to be facing off against EU Scrimbucks, which has a lot of those end of season nominees, has a lot of strong personalities, has a really good coach in Ogara, I think EU Scrimbucks is just the better team overall. So I think EU Scrimbucks comes out with that, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Aesir put up more of a fight and got a second map off of EU Scrimbucks.
All right, let's go now to Train. We will start it off with your. As soon as my my bracket decides to move over. Come on, computer, don't do this to me today. I have just too many darn windows open. Or something.
You need to download more RAM.
I need to download more RAM. That's what I need to do. I need to download more RAM. All right, so let's start it off with your upper bracket here. Back to Venice Vipers taking on Apollo.
All right, I know I said I'm the biggest Venice Vipers fan in the world. Okay, it's coming later. Give me a break. Okay, Apollo 3-0 over Venice Vipers in this round, but wait. Okay, just hold on.
I'm waiting.
All right. Right under that, we've got Aesir versus Feeders United. Once again, I'm really high on this Aesir team right now, and I've been burned by Feeders United in the past. So I'm gonna go Aesir here 3-1 over Feeders United. I believe the next match I have to read is A10 versus Venice Vipers in lower bracket, correct?
Yes, A10 versus Venice Vipers.
Okay. Venice Vipers 3-0 over A10. Okay.
Just shutting it down, shutting down the A10 train right there, huh?
Okay, A10, I'm a believer. Venice Vipers, I love them even more. Okay. Like you guys said, inconsistent team, but when they're good, they're great. Okay, and I trust them to be great during this playoffs. Right underneath that, we've got EU Scrimbucks and Feeders United. Once again, my prediction has been trashed by Feeders United in the past, and I refuse to believe in them anymore. EU Scrimbucks 3-1 over Feeders United here.
All right. And let's do your bracket finals here. Come on, computer. Don't do this to me right now. Seriously?
All right.
All right.
Upper bracket, we've got Apollo versus Aesir. Apollo is going to win that game 3-0. Now, Aesir, once again, an amazing team, but I haven't really seen anything to match Apollo's dominance recently.
All right.
So no reason to doubt them now. Lower bracket finals, we've got Venice Vipers versus EU Scrimbucks. And ladies and gentlemen, I am taking Venice Vipers 3-2 over EU Scrimbucks.
How dare you pick EU Scrimbucks to go out that early? Sorry, I'm just saying that to get a rise out of people after what I did.
I'm here for the interactions. I don't care if they're positive or negative.
Hey, publicity is publicity, man. Right? We call that
Exactly.
the Elon Musk philosophy. All right. So you have. Oh God. I'm sorry. Go on. Bowsy.
That's it.
I was just saying too soon.
Yeah, too soon. Yeah, our Twitter has been ruined.
Oh no!
All right, so you have a champ bracket of Apollo, Venice Vipers, and Aesir. All right, PDK, let's go to your EU tier. Start off with Venice Vipers taking on Apollo.
I have to agree with Train here.
Oh.
I know it's a scary sight to see, honestly. But I have Apollo winning 3-0 over the Venice Vipers. And then second match, some might say I'm copying him maybe. I have Aesir winning over Feeders United 3-2.
I would certainly say that.
This one I'm not copying him. Next one.
No.
Pay to win versus Venice Vipers. I have Pay to win it winning 3-0 over the Venice Vipers.
All right. Paid to win 3-0 over Venice Vipers. Bear with me for just a moment here, if you don't mind, PDK. You want to expand upon, so you just to clarify here, you had Acer over Feeders United. Same reasoning as Trey?
Yeah. No, it's just, I'm just kind of going out on a hunch. I don't really know too much about EU Harmony, and I kind of want to do an upset, quote unquote. And I feel like if there would be an upset, I feel like that's the one that's most likely to happen.
I can respect that. All right, let's do now. It said paid to win versus Venice Vipers. You have the paid to win, or the Venice Vipers dream ending there 3-0.
Yes.
Then we have Scrimbucks taking on Feeders United here. What are you thinking, PDK, about that match?
I have the EU Scrimbucks winning 3-0 against Feeders United.
Yeah, right. So not only a
It's
win,
gonna
but a
change.
dominant win over Feeders United there. All right.
Pretend I do any coaching for that team.
All right. All right. So you have a upper bracket finals then. Apollo taking on Aesir. Do you want to go ahead and give us a winner there?
It's gonna shock everyone, but I have Apollo winning 3-0 over Aesir. Apollo is just dominant, to say like no other word really fits them. They're just tier of their own, really.
They have been. They really have been this season.
Yeah.
They've been kind of blowing it away. So, it's been kind of wild here, seeing what Apollo's been doing here recently. So Apollo taking out Ace here, both though going to that championship bracket. Who do you have winning then versus Paid to Win and EU Scrimbucks?
I have EU Scrimbucks, but I think it's gonna be a really close game. I have them winning 3-2.
All right.
I think it's just gonna be a blow for blow kind of a match, but I have faith in the EU Scrimbucks.
All right. So EU Scrimbucks taking that one here. All right. You know, unfortunately, I am dealing with so many technical problems right now that this is making this really challenging for me. So we are actually going to take a very short pause here, maybe 30 seconds or so. Just need to work on a couple things. We will be right back in just a moment. All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. Appreciate your patience while we're working through this wonderful little technical problem that I'm dealing with here. So, PDK again, we just finished you up here. You had a final bracket of Apollo, EU Scrimbucks, and Aesir, and we're gonna go now to Unchanged. Let's get there. Start with your top match: Hellhounds versus Apollo.
So yeah, I was the lone wolf getting Hellhounds going through, and then I have them immediately losing up to Apollo 3-0. So a short-lived run of success for them.
All right.
Then Aesir versus Feeders United. I have Aesir with the upset 3-2. I think it's going to be close, but I think Aesir have the current form to pull through on that one for sure.
Not a lot of Feeders United hope going on right now. It seems like Paid to Win versus Hellhounds. Tell me about that one.
I have Paid to Win 3-2, being victorious over the Hellhounds there. Again, another close map, and I had Hellhounds winning their first map, but then I just feel like team comp wise and what they're able to run, they lose the next couple matchups, unfortunately.
All right. And then EU Scrimbucks versus Feeders United.
A little bit of Scrimbucks bias, a little bit of I think some mental things that I saw after Feeders matchup against Apollo this week. I have the Scrimbucks winning 3-1.
All right. So your finals then for each bracket, upper bracket, Apollo versus Aesir. Who's coming out on top?
Apollo, I'm not gonna disagree with anyone else there. They also win. I do have Aesir taking a sneaky little map off of them. I think they're gonna pull it off. I think they just had such a good run. I think they get lucky in one map. Apollo underestimate them slightly, whatever it is, and they get that one map, but then Apollo gets straight back on track 3-1.
All right. And take it to the bottom now. Scrimbucks versus Paid to Win. Do I need to ask?
It's gonna be a close one. We haven't played Paid to Win in a very long time, not since stage 1, obviously, but I do have us winning. But it is only 3-2. I think they're gonna make it really tough for my players, that's for sure.
All right, so 3-2 on that one. Let's go now over to our bracket, the correct bracket for Mr. Yeti. Let's start it off in the bottom here on top. Hellhounds versus Apollo. Hellhounds, the dream ends very quickly here. Apollo takes care of business in that round and takes that one down. Aesir versus Feeders United. Again, I'm really high up on Aesir right now, and I'm a little worried about Feeders United in the playoffs here. I don't know if necessarily they're going to be ready to go for this matchup, and I think Aesir is riding that wave of momentum really nicely right now. Thunderbolt Rewind then taking on Hellhounds. I have been very high up on Thunderbolt Rewind, but I think the dream dies on this one, unfortunately. I take the Hellhounds winning that one and moving to the lower bracket finals. Feeders United. I'm sorry, not Feeders United. Oh, yes. Feeders United then taking on Orthus. I have been really high up on Orthus. I love the changes that they're making. I'm going to continue to ride that train here. I think Orthus will continue and they will advance over Feeders United into the lower bracket finals. And then my bracket finals here, let's start it off. Apollo versus Aesir. And this is probably the boldest take of them all, but I have Apollo winning this match, and Aesir losing. So
brave of Yeti.
I know, so brave. And then the next round here, Orthus versus Hellhounds. And again, I don't know if I just have too much Orthus hopium going on or what it is, but I am riding that Orthus train right now. I loved watching and casting the match that they played against A10. They looked really good. The Pharah play was outstanding. I just have to continue to believe in the Orthus, and I have to justify them taking out the Scrimbucks too, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I think the Scrimbucks are probably the best team in the lower bracket. If I'm considering that, I gotta justify the Scrimbucks beat down from Orthus here. So that's what I'm going with. I'm riding the Orthus train all the way to the championship bracket. All right. Bowsy, championship bracket time. Take us through EU Scrimbucks versus Feeders United.
EU Scrimbucks versus Feeders United. Unchanged will be happy to hear, but I am choosing EU Scrimbucks to win 4-2 over Feeders United. I still feel like EU Scrimbucks are a championship contender, even with losing their Flex DPS last stage, and I think they can take down Feeders United, which leads me to my grand finals match of Apollo versus EU Scrimbucks. And my EU Scrimbucks train ends here. I think Apollo is going to win 4-2 in the grand finals and take the Harmony EU title. I see you shaking your head on change. I'm sorry. The train can only go so far.
Speaking of train, how far can you go on this one? Venice Vipers versus Aesir. Who do you got coming out on top? Who's going to the finals?
Oh, I can go definitely further than I should, Yeti. You guys are gonna hate me for this one too. I've got Venice Vipers 4-2 over Aesir.
All right.
I know everyone is like, this guy is the
This
bread
guy is
box of
long. I
this.
just put
What
Orthus
is
in the
he talking
championship
about?
bracket, so I think everybody's already judging me. I think I took the heat off of you, buddy. Don't worry about it. Your finals then: Apollo versus Venice Vipers. How's that one shake out?
Apollo wins 4-0. I tried so hard. I tried so hard to find a reason, and there just is none. Apollo has been so dominant, and just looking genuinely a tier above the rest in Harmony EU right now. Not because everyone else is bad, but because Apollo has just been that good recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as much as I love the Vipers, it's going to be hard to take them out.
All right. And PDK, break down your EU championship bracket.
So first match we have EU Scrimbucks versus Aesir. Unchanged. You're gonna be very happy to hear I'll have you guys losing to Aesir 4-2.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Jeez.
And then it kind of just is a quick stomp, really, isn't it? Apollo just 4-0s Aesir to win Harmony tier.
Apollo. We have 3 championship Apollo believers here. The question is unchanged. Where do you stand? Do I even need to ask, sir?
Probably not. Let's be honest. Yeah,
A very candid answer out of Unchanged.
I
hope
will
you.
be blatantly honest and say that yes, I do obviously have us going through, and I do have us winning. But I want to mention your pick of Orphus. If they do beat us, I feel like they can go on the exact same run that I have the hopium that my Scrimbucks team will. So I don't think yours is that unbased of an opinion to think that Orphus can make it all the way. But yeah, I have Scrimbucks, and then I have it being a very close, a 4-3, all the way to map 7 in the grand final against Apollo. I've been looking forward to watching my team play against Apollo. We had a scrim against them, and it was one of the best scrims we've had the entire time that we've been a team. So I'm looking forward to Apollo versus Scrimbucks for sure.
All right, so a shakeup here. Unchanged brings in EU Scrimbucks taking on Apollo. So the question is will the Orthus dream die? And the answer to that question is no. The Orthus dream continues to the grand finals against Apollo. And then the question that everybody, and that score, by the way, I'm going to go 4-2 for Orthus. And then the question is will the Orthus dream die against Apollo? And the answer is a resounding yes. Apollo is just, I hate to break it to everybody here, but Apollo is just a step above everybody right now. And I think I think 9 times out of 10, this match goes Apollo's way. I don't see it going any other way. Honestly, if I'm making a realistic prediction with my already relatively based bracket, I have to go out at least acknowledging a champion, and I'm going to go with Apollo on this one here. So that is how we all believe the bracket's shaking out. Again, as a recap for everybody here, we got Bowsy going with Apollo as well over EU Scrimbucks, Train with Apollo over Venice Vipers, PDK with Apollo over Aesir, Unchanged with EU Scrimbucks over Apollo, and myself with Apollo over Orthus. So 4 people of the 5 picking Apollo and 1 person picking their team.
Crazy.
All right, Unchanged, thank you so much for being here and joining us tonight on this as a special guest. We're gonna be right back next here with I believe the next one on the list was the Harmony tier. Did I write that down right? It was a Harmony tier. Did I say Harmony tier?
think so.
I thought it was trans tier.
I don't have Discord open because my computer's experiencing a processing.
It says
leak.
Harmony and then Transcendence. So
It was Harmony EU or Transcendence?
Harmony EU and then Transcendence.
Transcendence
and
tier.
Harmony
All right. This is a very organized podcast, as you can tell, guys.
Oh,
we're gonna
wait.
be
We're
back.
professionals here.
Yes, we're gonna come back in just a moment here. We're gonna take a look at the weekly montage this week put together by Phoenix. We're gonna go ahead and run that now, and we'll be back after that short break with the NA Transcendence tier.
seen it all. Nothing more to say. Today's a new day, so won't you at least try? No, counter try when you want fix it for you though. Be honest, haven't you learned it the hard way? No. Welcome back to your magician. So many beautiful dreams inside you. Listen, you are the one who needs to care for them. Dream on now with your head in the clouds, left and right, up and down. Honestly, just break free. Maybe there really are no more ironies, time to listen to my heart. Oh, I'm ready to start. I have been flooded inside, no restraint through the night. Finally, I got it right. I'm here to satisfy. Bring it on, my gun, the track will burn down every pocket. I never forget to show my true colors. I never forget to question destiny. I will be more than a puppet. I never be just a doll. I can feel the rhythm. Yes, you are right. This is my fight. Comes the strike, time to the top of my feet.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are moving out to the Transcendence tier. We welcome back, of course, PDK, Train, and Bowsy, and we welcome making their podcast debut, doing the Transcendence tier bracket today is Toxic. How are you doing, Toxic?
I'm doing well.
All right, welcome, welcome. Let's go right into the predictions, y'all. We got Transcendence tier coming up now, and Bowsy, kick us off. We are going to start in that, well, it's a lot different of a bracket. It's a much bigger bracket. Let's start in that lower bracket let's start in the upper bracket, sorry, between Sigma and Insidious.
Absolutely. So our first match, Reckless Sigma versus Insidious. I'm already going to start off with a banger. I've said I'm a reckless stand for the entire season, but I have Insidious winning 3-2 over Reckless Sigma.
All right.
Moving over to our next match, which is Throwing or Bad versus Carnage. I'm going to predict another upset. I predict Throwing or Bad winning 3-2 over Carnage in that match. Everybody, including Dabmaster, is going to want my head by the end of the broadcast. Moving on to the next match, which is Reckless Arcadia versus Billings Boomers. I have a full sweep in favor of Reckless Arcadia there. I feel like they're just a better team overall than the Billings Boomers. And our final match in the upper bracket first week is Uzumaki versus Zeus. I have Uzumaki winning 3-1 over Zeus.
All right. Is it really an upset, Throwing or Bad versus Carnage? Just saying. 3 seed,
Throwing
6
or
seed?
Bad. To be fair, Throwing or Bad were a Group B team. And
That's
last
true.
week they did pull off a big win over Reckless Sigma, which
Yes.
I don't think anyone predicted. I'm predicting Tranquility,
Nope.
so I call it an upset.
All right, that's fair. That's
Oh,
fair.
PDK
Okay,
did.
PDK
Well,
apparently.
you weren't on the show, but
PDK, yeah, gotta get that mention. I respect it. All right, so let's go now down to your lower bracket. The one first round matchup we have in the lower bracket, because people suck, is the Rat Society taking on Swarm Hornets. Who do you got?
I hate to do this because every time I predict against Rat Society, they win. But I'm picking Swarm Hornets to win 3-1 over Rat Society.
Swarm Hornets 3-1 over Rat Society. All right. So there is that one. Perfect. All right, and then let's do your second round of matchups here. Bowsy, you got, starting off at the top, Insidious taking on the Decapitators.
Absolutely. So Insidious versus Decapitators. I have Decapitators once again beating Insidious. This time 3-1 score for them. Next match, Battalion versus Throwing Your Bad. Now, of course, I predicted Throwing Your Bad to win against Carnage. Do I think they're going to beat Battalion? Absolutely not. I think Battalion is going to sweep Throwing or Bad in that match coming up there. Next up, Reckless Arcadia versus Epizeuxis. I have to go for Epizeuxis. There is no denying that Epizeuxis are one of the top dogs right now, and they are just a step above the rest. And to close out this second round of the upper bracket, Uzumaki versus Devil Dukes. I have the Devil Dukes squeaking out of a map 5 situation against Uzumaki and going on to get a guaranteed entry into the championship bracket.
All right, so Uzumaki, close round up against Devil Dukes there. We will swing back to Bowsy in just a moment to continue working through that bracket, but now we'll kick over to Train. Let's start it off top of the bracket. We have Reckless Sigma versus Insidious.
All right. I was pleasantly surprised by Bowsy's prediction here. I too took Insidious over Reckless Sigma, 3-2 here. I think that team is criminally underrated after kind of a quiet stage 1, stage 2, but a good team, I think. Next game, we've got Throwing Your Bad versus Carnage. Here again, I took Carnage 3-1. I think Throwing Your Bad got some kind of sneaky buys in there early. I think their seed might be a little misleading. Billings Boomers versus Reckless Arcadia. I am a massive Reckless Arcadia fan, so I've got Arcadia 3-1 over Billings Boomers. And next, we have Uzumaki versus Zeus. I'm giving the 3-0 victory to Uzumaki here.
All right, so Uzumaki over Zeus, wrapping up the upper bracket. Take it down now to the lower bracket, the one matchup we have, Swarm and Rat Society. Who do you got?
Rats, we are the rats. As I said before, podcast, they live in my walls. I'm taking Rat Society with a 3-2 victory over Swarm Hornets here.
All right, let's go back to the top then. Insidious versus Decapitators. Who you got, buddy?
All right, Insidious versus Decaps. Insidious, great team. At this point, though, Delphi on the main tank has had some time to gel, so I'm taking Decaps 3-1 over Insidious. Next round, just as I have done in the past, I am picking Battalion to win kind of a surprising game, but Battalion 3-0 over Carnage. Next one down, I've got Epizeuxis 3-0 over Reckless Arcadia. Doesn't look like anyone can really touch them right now. I thought Devil Dukes could, but I was dead wrong. Finally, in our upper bracket here, we've got Uzumaki versus the Devil Dukes, and I took the Devil Dukes with a 3-0 victory there.
All right, so Devil Dukes over Uzumaki, wrapping up that bracket. We'll come back to you in a bit here, Train. PDK, start us off. Sigma versus Insidious.
I have Insidious beating Sigma and a clean sweep, 3-0. And then Throwing Your Bad, taking on Carnage. I have another clean sweep, Carnage 3-0, Throwing Your Bad. And for my next match, I have Reckless Arcadia versus Billings Boomers, and another clean sweep in favor of Reckless Arcadia. And then my final match, Uzumaki versus Zeus. Guess what? I have another clean sweep.
What? Whoa.
In favor of Uzumaki. Yeah, it's
Another
crazy.
one.
And another one.
I can't believe it.
Another one.
And then for my my lower bracket,
Your one lower bracket match.
my one,
Yep.
it's a lot.
Yep.
It was really hard. I have, guess what? Another clean sweep in favor of Rat Society.
All right, clean sweep for Rat Society. All right, PDK with a very based set of predictions. Let's start back up at the top. Insidious versus Decapitators.
It's hard to bet against Decapitators. I have Decapitators and another clean sweep against Insidious.
Another one.
Yeah.
All right.
And then my team, Battalion, guess what? In another clean sweep against Carnage, we're gonna recreate some past there, and then Reckless Arcadia versus Epizeuxis, upset of the season. Reckless Arcadia 3-1 over Epizeuxis.
Really? That is a big one for
Yeah.
sure. Predicting Epi to drop to Reckless Arcadia. All right.
And Devil Dukes 3-0 over Uzumaki, another clean sweep. So shocking.
All right. And we will come back to PDK in just a bit to fill out that lower bracket a bit and work from there. Toxic, top of the bracket, Sigma versus Insidious.
So I took Insidious 3-1 over Reckless Sigma. I think Insidious are like a dark horse team in this. Not a lot of teams rate, a lot of people rate them, but I think they're good. I've got Throwing Her Bad versus Carnage. I got 3-1 for Throwing Her Bad. I think Throwing Her Bad, I heard they picked up a really good new flex DPS, so taking them. I took a clean sweep for Reckless Arcadia versus Billing Boomers, and then another clean sweep for Uzumaki versus Zeus.
All right, so Uzumaki over Zeus. Let's go down to that one lower bracket match for Rat Society and Swarm Hornets.
So I took 3-2 for Swarm Hornets. This exact matchup actually happened week 9 of Elam Pool, and Swarm Hornets won, but it was very close. Like there was a 6-5 on Volskaya and like a 5-4 in Kings Row. So I would not be surprised if this went in the way of Rat Society.
6-5 Volskaya.
Ugh.
Let's go back to your top of your bracket then. We got Insidious versus Decapitators. Who do you got there?
I've got Decaps winning at 3-1. I think Insidious can take a map off them, but Decaps have proven to be a winning team, and like also Decaps just have like an insane DPS lineup of Smugs, Orsted, and Kribis. That's illegal in trans tier. That should be. And then for Throwing Her Bad versus Battalion, I've got Battalion winning at 3-1. Battalion are looking strong. They've got a strong roster that's remained somewhat consistent throughout the season, which is pretty good for trans tier. So, hell, yeah.
Not wrong. All right. Arcadia versus Epi. What do you got there?
Arcadia versus Epizeuxis, I took a 3-1 for Epizeuxis. I think Arcadia are good, but they haven't beaten anyone that's at like the top of the food chain in trans tier, like Epizeuxis or Decap. So I think until they beat someone like that, I'm going to take Epizeuxis. And then Devil Dukes versus Uzumaki, I'm taking Devil Dukes. I think they are a good team that can go far in the playoffs.
All right, we'll come back to Toxic in just a minute here. We'll go to my bracket next. We all know it's the most base bracket and the most correct bracket, of course. And I got Reckless Sigma taking out Insidious. I am a huge fan of both these teams. I think Insidious drops here, but I think we'll hear more from Insidious this playoffs for sure. And I guess you'll just have to wait and see what that is. Match 2 here, I got Throwing or Bad taking out Carnage. Throwing or Bad has become a lot better as the season has gone on. They have improved quite a bit. We saw that in their most recent victory here. I was very impressed with them. I also really like the addition of Aura to this team. I think that really kind of completes what this team needed from a DPS line as well. We have Billings Boomers versus Arcadia. Billings Boomers. I think a lot of people are overlooking Billings Boomers, but I'm also going to overlook them and pick Arcadia. I think Arcadia is just an unfortunate matchup for Billings, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they're facing a team like Carnage. I honestly would consider taking Billings right now, the way with Carnage kind of on a bit of a downswing and Billings doing a little bit better these days. So I think I would kind of lean towards Billings in that one, but that's just my personal take on that. And then Uzumaki versus Zeus. Uzumaki's just been getting better and better as it's been going on. I got Uzumaki winning kind of a blowout. I think this match is going to be Rat Society versus Swarm Hornets. I got Rat Society. I think that one is actually a really easy one to predict. So I'm going to go Rat Society 3-0, actually. I think Rat Society is going to turn it on for the playoffs. excuse me. Back to the upper bracket here. Sigma versus Decapitators. Decaps win this one. Decaps make some good roster additions as the season's gone on, and they're only getting better, it seems like. Throwing or Bad versus Battalion. Y'all wanted spice. Here we go. I got Throwing or Bad beating Battalion. I am going on a hunch on this one, but I think it's a good one. I think it's a good one. I hear PDK thinking the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, Throwing or Bad has looked really good recently, and
I don't blame you.
all right,
If I'm to be quite honest.
that's fair. That's fair. All right.
I would not be surprised if I lost that game.
Throwing or Bad has been looking a lot better lately, and Battalion. No, they have PDK on that team. No, honestly, it's not even okay. I should say this. That's a good thing because PDK is the best player on that team, but they do have Telm, and that's a problem.
Oh, he says nothing. That's the first time I've ever heard you compliment me in 5 seasons.
Yeah,
maybe.
I know, right? It's amazing, isn't it? And then I immediately tear Telm down. Reckless Arcadia versus Epizeuxis. I am not nearly based enough to predict Reckless Arcadia winning that match, but Arcadia is a good team. We will hear from them a little bit later on in the playoffs for sure. And then Uzumaki versus Devil Dukes. I got an upset here. I got Uzumaki taking down Devil Dukes. I think Devil Dukes, I'm a little concerned about them right now. I want to see how they can bounce back from really the first adversity they faced this season. It's no shot on the Devil Dukes' players. I just am curious how they can bounce back. It's 2 weeks from Wednesday. That match will be. This is the one I'm least certain on, for the record, with regards to my predictions. Just to be straight honest with you, I am least certain on this one, but I'm going on a bit of a vibe right now, and I feel like Uzumaki's playing good Overwatch right now. Let's go back to Bowsy. Bowsy, we're going to start with your lower bracket matchup here between Puerto Rico and Carnage.
I'm going to add some spice to the flame and say that Puerto Rico win in a map 5 situation.
Ooh, wow.
I have consistently called them the map 5 kings, and I think Carnage is starting to fall off a little bit. I think Puerto Rico can take advantage of it and win in a map 5 situation. The next match, Danger Close versus Reckless Sigma. This is where my Reckless org standing starts to really show, as I have a full sweep for Reckless Sigma to win that series. Next up is Zeus versus Vengeance, and again, I have to apologize to Unfeatured, who plays on Vengeance, but I am going Unchanged.
Close enough.
There are too many of them in the production. I'm choosing Zeus regardless to win that match, 3-2 over Vengeance. And then the next match and the final match for that lower bracket group is Billings Boomers versus Swarm Hornets. I have Billings Boomer getting a full sweep over Swarm Hornets there. So
all right,
a lot of interesting matches in that second week.
Let's push through your week 3 in the lower bracket then. Puerto Rico versus Insidious.
I have Insidious winning 3-1. I mean, Insidious is a really good team. I think they still have the strength. And Puerto Rico, yes, the map 5 kings, but they have not taken a map 5 against any of the top dogs. Second match in that, Reckless Sigma versus Throwing or Bad. I have Reckless Sigma knocking out the Cats 3-2. I apologize, Throwing or Bad. I like you enough to get an upset over Carnage, but I don't like you enough to get to that championship bracket. Next up, Reckless Arcadia versus Zeus. I have Reckless Arcadia just full sweeping Zeus and getting him out of the bracket. No offense to Zeus, but they were not meant to be in that Group A, and they kind of have a rough season now. And to close it out, Uzumaki versus Billings Boomers. I have Uzumaki sending the Billings Boomers home as well. 3-0 in favor of Uzumaki.
All right. Let's go through now your what leads to your championship bracket. Devil Dukes versus Decapitators versus Battalion. Who is coming out on top on that one?
I have Decapitators winning 3-1 over Battalion in that matchup. Sorry, PDK.
Don't blame you.
All right. So you have the Decapitators grabbing that bye, and Puerto Rico. Wow, I'm losing my damn mind right now. Battalion
best
going to that first round of the championship bracket. Epi versus DD. Where are you going there?
No surprise here either. Epizeuxis sweeping the Devil Dukes in that championship qualifier, meaning Epizeuxis get the bye, and Devil Dukes have to face another opponent.
All right, let's go to your lower bracket. Who qualifies for the championship bracket?
Now, people will notice that I already have a duplicate matchup in this bracket between Reckless Sigma and Insidious. But I think this time, I stand the Reckless Org. I say Reckless Sigma get their revenge and get into the championship bracket, knocking out Insidious in a 3-1 scoreline.
And top of the bracket, or moving to that final bracket spot in the championship bracket, Arcadia versus Uzumaki.
Again, I stand the Reckless Org, and I choose Reckless Arcadia winning against Uzumaki in a 3-2 scoreline.
All right, so championship bracket in front of us there. Let's go now to train and build our way there on your backs. What you got? Puerto Rico and throwing or bad.
All right. So I kind of agree with everyone else's kind of consensus here that the additional piece for throwing or bad is going to be really, really valuable here. I took throwing or bad 3-0 over Puerto Rico. Next, right below that, we've got Danger Close versus Reckless Sigma. Again, I am a Reckless Org stan. Reckless Sigma is going to win that game 3-0 when it happens, so I know for sure it will. Zeus versus Vengeance right underneath that. I'm giving Zeus the 3-1 in that matchup. Next, we've got Rat Society versus the Billings Boomers. And though I stand the Rats, I've got to give a shout out to Billings Boomers here. I think they're doing a lot to improve this time around, this time in the season, I should say. So Billings Boomers are taking that victory 3-0.
All right. Let's get to your lower bracket again here then. Throwing or bad versus Insidious. Who comes out on top?
All right. I've gone back and forth on this even up to about 2 minutes ago. This time I'm going to take throwing or bad 3-2 over Insidious, but really I could see it going either way. I think these are two very closely matched teams.
All right.
Right underneath that, next we've got Reckless Sigma versus Carnage. I'm going to pass it over to Sigma for the 3-1 victory over Carnage there. Next we have Zeus versus Reckless Arcadia. I'm going to take Arcadia just as Bowsy did with the 3-0 over Zeus. And then next we have Uzumaki with a 3-1 win against the Billings Boomers.
All right. Uzumaki 3-1 over Billings Boomers. And let's go now to build your championship bracket. What you got?
All right. Reading through this, I actually realized Bowsy and I have very similar
You really do.
takes here.
You really do.
Decapitators 3-1 over Battalion. I think that's the same score Bowsy picked.
Yep.
Epizeuxis 3-0 over Devil Dukes. Also the same score Bowsy picked.
Yep.
Next, throwing or bad. We've got 3-2 over Reckless Sigma. Okay, I am now a throwing or bad believer. And finally, Reckless Arcadia with the 3-0 win over Uzumaki.
So throwing or bad, taking down Carnage, and I'm sorry, what was the other one?
And then Reckless Arcadia over Uzumaki.
Your bracket is nearly the same. One very small difference between throwing or bad and Reckless Sigma, I have to say. So, all right.
Great minds think alike.
All right. Interesting championship bracket there. Let's kick it now to PDK. Build out that lower bracket here. Puerto Rico in throwing or bad.
I have throwing or bad. 3-1 win over Puerto Rico. I mean, Aura, I remember him from season 4. He was a MVP candidate, actual insane player. So hopefully he plays. If he plays like that, it's gonna be hard to beat them. And then Danger Close versus Sigma. I have Sigma winning 3-1. And then for Zeus versus Vengeance, I think just everyone here, Zeus 3-1 over Vengeance. And then Rat Society versus the Billings Boomers. Rat Society sweeps them. Okay. And then we have Throwing Your Bad versus Insidious. I have Insidious winning 3-1. And then Carnage versus Sigma. I have Carnage winning 3-1 as well. And then Epizeuxis versus Zeus. Epizeuxis sweeps Zeus 3-0. And then Rat Society versus Uzumaki. I'm riding that rat hype train all the way up. Rat Society 3-0 Uzumaki to get into the lower bracket finals. Let's go, Rats!
Good take.
Well, I woke up. Toxic. Or I'm sorry. We back to PDK. Sorry, we got to build your championship bracket now. Decaps versus Battalion. Who do you got?
If you don't bet on yourself, what are you really doing?
Not betting on yourself.
Battalion winning map 5, 3-2 over Decapitators.
All right, and then lower bracket. Or your next one.
I had Reckless Arcadia to beat Epizeuxis, so might as well keep her going. Reckless Arcadia 3-1 over the Devil Dukes.
That is definitely a spicy one there for sure. All right.
Arcadia is the GOAT.
All right, lower bracket. Who moves on? Carnage or Insidious?
Insidious 3-0.
All right.
They're just, I played them last week. They're insane. And then Epizeuxis versus Rat Society. This is where it stops. Epizeuxis 3-0 Rat Society.
I was about to say.
I'm not that bold. I'm not that based.
All right. So you're setting up a very interesting championship bracket there, PDK. We'll be back to that in just a second. Toxic, let's build out your lower bracket. Carnage and
right.
Puerto Rico.
Carnage and Puerto Rico. I'm taking Carnage 3-1 to win this. I think Carnage can still do somewhat in this playoffs, but yeah. And the next one, Reckless Sigma, Danger Close. I'm taking Reckless Sigma 3-0. Reckless Sigma, we're a good team. MB pool, I'm pretty sure, and Danger Close, we're an Elam pool, so it's kind of hard to put those two together. Zeus versus Vengeance. Zeus, I'm taking 3-0. I think Zeus has some good players. Like Dragonetto was a very good hit scan on Amnesia last season, so Zeus 3-1. And then Billings Boomers versus Swarm Hornets. I would take Storm Hornets like PDK taking Rat Society, but I'm gonna take Billings Boomers. No, I'm not like you, PDK.
Hard to blame you.
No one's based anymore.
Back to the top of the losers bracket here. Carnage versus Insidious.
Carnage versus Insidious. I'm taking Insidious 3-1. I'm trying to find my notes. So I think Insidious versus Carnage. Insidious beat Battalion, who beat Carnage 4-0, and I think we can't ignore those scores. Like I think this match would make for a good feature. Like both of these want to make it to loser brackets finals to make it to champ bracket. So, but I'm taking Insidious Dark Horse. And then Throwing a Bad versus Reckless Sigma. I have flipped these scores so many times, but I'm taking Throwing a Bad 3-1. I think Throwing a Bad has a very good roster with their new Flex DPS pickup of Aura, and I think Smarties is very good on the Flex support, so yeah.
All right.
And then Zeus versus Reckless Arcadia, I think is the next one?
Yep.
Okay. Zeus versus Reckless Arcadia, I took Reckless Arcadia 3-1 because this match happened, I think, last feature for Transtier, and Reckless Arcadia just sweep Zeus. So I'm going to take them. Billings Boomers versus Uzumaki. I took Uzumaki 3-1. Yeah, I think Uzumaki have good coaching, and like pretty sure the coach is Denzel, who's a contenders coach, so I'm gonna take them. And then Uzumaki versus Reckless Arcadia. I took 3-2 Uzumaki. Oh no, is it the next match?
Well, we're gonna go to the top first, but I'll note that down here. You went Uzumaki over.
3-2.
No, that's all good. That's all good. We'll throw them in now and get ahead there. That's okay. Decaps versus Battalion. Who wins that one?
I gave it 3-1-1 for Decaps. They had a very good match the last time these two played. So I'm expecting this to be a good match, but ultimately I'm going with Decaps. They didn't lose last time. I don't think they'll lose this time. No offense, VDK. Uh, yeah. And then Epizeuxis versus Devil Dukes. The feature yesterday was a good feature, but Epizeuxis just sweep Devil Dukes. So again, if last time they didn't lose, I'm taking Epizeuxis 3-1.
All right, and the final match you have not mentioned yet: Insidious versus Throwing or Bad.
This one's a good one because you got two teams who are both good, and I'm buying into Insidious stonks. I'm taking 32 Insidious. I think this team will want to play better as its lower brackets, and it's the dark horse potential that I think Insidious will take them to the champ bracket.
All right. Toxic built out their championship bracket. My turn. Carnage versus Puerto Rico. You know, Carnage does not suck, contrary to what their players are saying in chat. Puerto Rico isn't bad either, but I think Carnage are good enough to take this one 3-1. Danger Close versus Insidious won't even be close. It's like Danger Close won't even show up. 3-0 versus Danger Close over Insidious over Danger Close. Vengeance versus Zeus. This is my upset of this round. I have Vengeance taking out Zeus. I think Zeus is currently trying to get off the struggle bus, and I just don't see it happening. I think Vengeance is gonna pick up a dub here. And then Rat Society versus Billings Boomers. I love Rat Society, but I am picking Billings. Billings, I think, has obviously just been more consistent as the season's gone on. Plus, I'm a huge fan of Chief. I think everybody is, so just saying. Carnage versus Reckless Sigma. I do stand the Reckless Org, so I'm gonna go with Reckless Sigma. I think this one's really close. I think, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I think Carnage kind of got dealt a rough hand here. I think if they were in the other bracket, I think things could go a little bit easier for them. I think they match up better in that bracket, but I think Reckless Sigma is going to come out on top on that one. And then Insidious versus Battalion. I am going with Insidious. I think this is probably the biggest upset here. It's not even a shot on Battalion. I think it's a praise on how good Insidious actually is. I think that team is really good. I think they're severely underseeded. I'm a big Insidious fan, and I think they do take this one over Battalion. Not a shot on Battalion, but a plus on Insidious for sure. So, Vengeance versus Reckless Arcadia. My Vengeance run ends pretty much with a whimper. 3-0 Reckless Arcadia. And then Billings Boomers versus Devil Dukes, the Marsupial Gaming battle of, well, this week, because they just recently battled before. But anyways, Devil Dukes 3-0. They're just better than Billings. Straight up. Championship bracket time. Let's build it. Decaps versus Throwing or Bad. I got Decaps winning that one. Some might say it's bias. Other might say it's common sense. I say yes to both. The next one is Epizeuxis versus Uzumaki. I am going to say that Uzumaki doesn't stand a chance here. It's going to be 3-0, but they still get to the championship bracket, so I think they won't complain that much. I think you'd be silly to. So Uzumaki goes to the championship bracket as well. Next, Navino. Yes, I see you in chat, Navino. I know you like Marsupial Gaming. I know. It's very, very, very nice, Navino. All right. Anyways, I mean the bracket's just rigged against you guys, so I kid. And then Reckless Sigma versus Insidious. I am going to also go with Insidious on this one. I think this is unfortunate for these two teams. I really like both of them, and I feel like if they were in the other bracket, it'd be a little bit of a different story for both of them, but I'm going to go with Insidious advancing here into the championship bracket. And then Devil Dukes versus Reckless Arcadia. Devil Dukes and Reckless Arcadia did play, and I believe it was 3-1 Devil Dukes. I think this one will be 3-2, but also for Devil Dukes. I think Devil Dukes will get to the championship bracket. Yes, once again. It was 3-0-1. My bad. But yeah, I think it'll be like a 3-1, maybe 3-2. All right, that is my championship bracket. A lot of similarities across the board here, but Bowsy, let's start with you. Who is winning the championship bracket for the Transcendence tier?
We'll start off with my first match, Battalion versus Reckless Arcadia. How many times do I have to say it? I stand the Reckless Org. I have Arcadia winning 4-2 over Battalion. Second match, Reckless Sigma versus Devil Dukes. Again, I stand the Reckless Org. Reckless Sigma beating Devil Dukes 4-2. And then my next matches, which is Epizeuxis versus Reckless Arcadia. This is where my standing ends. I have Epizeuxis winning 4-1 over Reckless Arcadia. And then the second semifinal match, Decapitators versus Reckless Sigma. I have Decapitators winning 4-1 over Reckless Sigma.
All right. And your finals, Epi versus Decaps, two undefeated squads taking each other on. What do you think here?
It would be foolish after yesterday's feature and the preseason and every sort of thing we've seen this entire season to not say that Epizeuxis are going to be winning the Season 8 Transcendence Tier Finals in a 4-1 victory over Decapitators.
Epizeuxis winning the finals 4-1 over Decapitators. And Epizeuxis comes in and wins in the Transcendence tier. All right. Train, your turn. Who do you got? Start off at the top.
All right, so first off, we have Battalion versus Reckless Arcadia. That match, I am taking Battalion. I think historically, Battalion gets the kind of playoffs
Wait, you
buff.
have Battalion versus Reckless Arcadia?
I believe you did.
I
you
did. I got
flipped
him
the-
backwards.
yeah.
That's my bad. My bad. My
Yeah,
bad, y'all.
I noticed that earlier.
My bad, y'all.
couldn't
My
comment
bad.
on it, though.
All right. Fixed.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, so Battalion 4-2 over Reckless Arcadia. Next match, I have Devil Dukes versus Throwing Her Bad. I think that'll be a pretty clean sweep for Devil Dukes going 4-0. Next, we have Battalion and Epizeuxis. Battalion playoff buff can only carry them so far. I kind of agree with Bowsy's point that Epi has been really dominant all season and preseason. So I'm going Epi 4-0 over Battalion. Next, we have Decaps versus Devil Dukes. I'm going to take I'm taking Decaps with a 4-3 over the Devil Dukes here. And for our finals, the two 1 seeds facing off, I've got Epizeuxis with a 4-2 victory over the Decapitators.
All right. So Epi comes out on top on Train's bracket as well. PDK, you're up. What do you got for us on top?
So, first championship match, we have Decapitators versus Epizeuxis.
With
You
the
know, everyone's
finals for the other
games-
two.
Everyone's finals games, happened in the first round. I'm taking Decapitators 4-3 here. I believe in Decapitators. I think Epi gets knocked out a little early there. Then I have for another one. I have Devil Dukes versus Insidious. I have Devil Dukes winning 4-1. And then for Decapitators versus Reckless Arcadia, I have another map 7. I have Decapitators winning again, map 7.
Battalion
And then,
versus
for-
Devil Dukes.
I don't think we've ever played them, but I have Battalion winning 4-3, another map 7. I think all these games are going to be insanely close. I think, and then for grand finals, I have Decapitators winning 4-3. I think our run ends there. I think Decap beats us.
If you're not going to pick yourself, then why pick at all, right? I think you said that the first time.
Yeah, but if I put myself realistically, if I put myself winning, that's kind of like
Unchanged in the EU bracket.
yeah, I know, but I'm not unchanged.
That's true.
I'm not European.
That's true. You're not. You're definitely not. Toxic. Let's do your championship bracket here. Start us off at the
Alright.
top. Uzumaki versus Battalion.
I took Battalion 4-2. I think Uzumaki are good, but I think Battalion are just going to play a better game. For Devil Dukes versus Insidious, I originally had this flip, but I bought into Insidious stonks, so I got to go with Insidious 4-2 over Devil Dukes. I'm sorry, Devil Dukes. I think you guys can win, but I'm buying into Insidious Stonks. And then for Battalion versus Epizeuxis, I took Epizeuxis 4-2. Epizeuxis played very well in the feature last night, so I gotta go with them. And then Decaps versus Insidious. Even though I bought into Insidious Stonks, I just looked at roster transactions in Transcendence tier. Marv has somehow joined the Decapitators, and that might be the biggest pickup this season. So I'm going with Decapitators 4-1. And then for my finals, Epizeuxis versus Decapitators, I'm going with the 4-2 for Decapitators.
All right. Decaps winning on Toxic's bracket here. So again, as a reminder, Bowsy with Epi, Train with Epi, PDK with Decaps, and Toxic with Decaps. Time for the correct picks. Devil Dukes versus Throwing or Bad. We just talked about how much of a Throwing or Bad stan I am, and I have to say I am definitely picking Devil Dukes to win that round. Throwing or Bad, I think the dream ends there for them. Devil Dukes, I think, are just too talented, too good, and I think after going out against Uzumaki, they're going to be a little pissed, and I think Phone and I'm trying to remember their main tank's name. I'm sorry, Dizzy. I think yes. I think that they just kind of put the team on their back and they move through to Epi again, and we get a big rematch there. Insidious versus Uzumaki. Again, I am a huge fan of Insidious. I'm going with Insidious here. And let's go now to our semifinals. Devil Dukes versus Epizeuxis. You know what? Last time was just a fluke. I'm just saying it. Epi is, by this point, the mental's gonna be fried. You know, I have no base to say that whatsoever. No basis at all. Cam's gonna just start choking. Frozen will just be completely frozen. Horror Hero is going to be snubbed for another award somehow, and I think Epi will just fall. Actually, I'm just a believer in Devil Dukes. I think Devil Dukes will get the reality check after losing to Uzumaki early, and I think that's going to motivate them to make this run that they're going to go on here. Decapitators versus Insidious. I'm picking against my own team, y'all. I'm going with Insidious. Now, this is the boldest pick of the entire tournament for me. And the reason I'm doing it is because I refuse to pick a team that I manage. Just going to be straight up honest with you. But I am also a huge fan of Insidious, but I also believe it's bad luck to pick a team you manage. So I am not going to be picking Decapitators here in this situation. I am going to be going, look at them. They're really upset in the chat, and I don't blame them. But I am a huge fan of Insidious. I think they're severely underrated and overlooked right now. I have them going to the championship round. Now, Devil Dukes versus Insidious. Some people might look at this and say this is the most based bracket of them all. And I would say, yes, you're right. And all I have to say is when I look at how this playoffs are going for Insidious, and when I look at how these playoffs are going for Devil Dukes, I have two things to say, and that is just this whole playoffs has been just stinky. And that is why I am going with Insidious to win the Transcendence Tier Championship, and Insidious comes out on top. Now, yes, is there some personal jinxes and bias as part of this? Absolutely. 150%. I am not denying that for a minute. Straight up. But I also love Insidious. And they have my very favorite name I have ever said in a broadcast is stinky. I'm just saying. I
was there to cast with you, and I can definitely confirm that was the case.
Stinky is my favorite name I've ever said in a broadcast, and I'm giving it purely based on that alone, and also because I believe Insidious is good. But I'm going with Insidious for this bracket here, guys. So there's the championship brackets again for everyone. Bowsy and Train, both with Epizeuxis, PDK and Toxic, both with Decapitators, and me with Insidious. So there's our brackets there, guys. We are going to take just a 2-minute break here, just a really quick break, guys. We'll be right back, and we are going to go now to the Harmony NA bracket. So thank you again, Toxic, for joining us. We definitely appreciate you being here for this one. All right, welcome back, everybody. It looks like PDK is still not back yet. That's my mistake for starting a little bit early there on PDK's part. Sorry about that, PDK. He's getting settled in. Oh, he brought pizza.
He got pizza.
He got pizza. Did you bring enough for the class, PDK? We are live, by the way.
No.
That's why they
we
call
are?
him Pizza DK.
We are live, by the way.
We are live.
But PDK brings pizza. Not enough for everybody in chat, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
All 79 of you will have to find your own pizza.
yes,
Dude,
unfortunately.
there's 3 slices left.
Well, we can chop them up real fine.
Oh, like how we do
Send-
like the
send
class
them over.
parties?
Right.
All right, we're going to go into the Harmony tier, guys, and we're starting off with Bowsy kicking us off in, again, Harmony tier NA, and we have in this one, first match, Geometric versus Strix.
So starting off, Geometric versus Strix. I have Strix winning this 3-1, coming back after a very rough stage number 1. Second match in this upper bracket, Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies against Amateur Professionals. I have the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies getting a clean sweep over the Amateur Professionals. I've spoken highly about Amateur Professionals in the past, but I don't think they're ready for Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. They're on a hot streak. Next up, Luminous Foxes versus Jersey Boys. I have the Luminous Foxes taking down the Jersey Boys 3-1. And the final first week upper bracket match, Frost Nova versus Frost Bloom. I have Frost Nova beating their sister team 3-1.
All right. Frost Nova upsetting Frost Bloom there. Let's go to the lower bracket, Nemesis versus Triple Throwers.
Speaking of upsets, let's have a good one to start. I have Turbo Throwers beating Nemesis 3-1. I think Turbo Throwers are finally starting to show their stuff. Nemesis having a little bit of roster transactions might impact them thus far, so I'm going to say Turbo Throwers have that synergy to win that match. Next match, Squall versus Wildfire. I have Squall winning that in a map 5 situation, knocking out Wildfire from the playoffs. Next up is Chrysalis versus Boop. And despite what Bubba White has said, I think Boop is going to beat Chrysalis this year again. Boop will win a playoff game again in a map 5 reverse sweep again.
All right. So Boop over Chrysalis. Gehenna Gatekeepers versus Shake and Bake.
I've been I've been high praise on Shake and Bake this entire stage 2, and it is not going to stop here. I have Shake and Bake winning against the Gehenna Gatekeepers 3-2 and moving on in the playoffs.
All right. Back to the top then for you. Strix versus versus Big Bang Buccaneers. Where are we going there?
I love Strix. I love the Pantheon org, but I have to say the Big Bang Buccaneers will win this series 3-1. That win in week number 9 was just too powerful, and I can't not predict against the Big Bang Buccaneers anymore. Next up is Galactic Penguins versus fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. I have the Galactic Penguins winning this series in a map 5 situation. I do not count out the Duckies, however, to potentially upset this, but I am sticking with my gut, and I'm saying the Penguins will go on to the championship bracket. Next up is a rematch again. Luminous Foxes versus the Koala Kings. I have the Luminous Foxes getting their revenge over the Koala Kings 3-2 in this series. And this final match here, which I hate that I had to predict this. Doodles versus Frost Nova. The people Doodles can definitely refer to what I said to them last predicting show about what I said about this match, but I was forced to predict it, and I have to pick Doodles 3-1 because if I don't, then it's going to be chaos.
Not wrong on that part. Not wrong at all. So Doodles taking down Frost Nova, moving them to the lower bracket. We will come back to fill out that lower bracket here and get to your championship bracket in just a moment here, Bowsy. Train, you're next. Who do you got?
All right, starting off with Geometric and Strix. I'm taking Geometric here 3-1 over Strix. Geometric kind of sneakily sliding under the radar here in that 4 seed, but I'm a believer. Fire-breathing Rubber Duckies versus Amateur Professionals. I think the Duckies DPS line is probably second or first best in the tier. Maybe controversial. So I'm going to take the Duckies here 3-0 over AP. Next game we have the Jersey Boys versus Luminous Foxes. I'm going to toss Jersey Boys a map here, but I think Luminous has been the better team all season. So Luminous 3-1 over Jersey Boys. The infamous Frost Bowl here with Frost Bloom versus Frost Nova. I agree it'll be a map 5, but I'm actually going to go the other direction with Frost Bloom in this case. And that'll round off my first round of the upper bracket.
Lower bracket now, Nemesis Turbo Throwers.
All right. Lower bracket, Nemesis Turbo Throwers. I think Nemesis is actually very underseeded here. Watching through codes, I've always been very impressed by their gameplay. So I'm going to take Nemesis 3-0 over Turbo Throwers. Next, we have Squall versus Wildfire. I'm going to go 3-1 for Wildfire here. We have Chrysalis versus Boop. I don't know what it is, but Boop always gets this weird playoff buff, and they will always win at least if not 2 games. So I'm going Boop here in a close 5-map game, 3-2 over Chrysalis. And then Shake and Bake will win, I think, relatively easily, 3-0 over the Gehenna Gatekeepers.
All right. And let's go back to the top then. You got Geometric taking on Big Bang. Where are you going there?
I coach Big Bang. I try not to be biased on this kind of thing, but I'm taking Big Bang 3-0 over Geometric. Fire-breathing Rubber Duckies and Galactic Penguins, I think, will probably be one of the closest, if not the closest match in the whole playoff bracket. But I'm going to side with the Duckies on this one, 3-2 over Galactic Penguins. Next, we have Luminous Foxes versus the Koala Kings.
Wait, you said fire breathing over Geometric? Or over?
Yeah, Duckies over
Yes.
GP.
Sorry,
3-2.
that's what I thought you said. Sorry. Go on.
No worries. Luminous versus Koala Kings. I'm going to take Koala Kings 3-1. I think they're a little bit more flexible than the Foxes, which plays to their advantage in a rematch scenario. Next, we have Frost Bloom versus the Doodles. You never know what's going to happen with the Doodles. Here, I'm going to give them the 3-0 over a talented Frost Bloom side, but a 3-0 nonetheless here.
All right, we'll come back to fill out that lower bracket here in just a moment. Go to upper bracket for PDK, Geometric versus Strix. Who do you got?
I have Strix winning that one in a 3-1. And then Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies versus Amateur Professionals, just like everyone else. I'm a little bit of a follower. I have Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies 3-0. And then Jersey Boys versus Luminous Foxes. Going against Train and Bowsy, I think. I have Jersey Boys winning in a map 5. And then we have Frost Bloom versus Frost Nova. I have Frost Nova winning 3-1. But honestly, it could be either or. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Frost Bloom won that as well. And then going down into the lower bracket, Nemesis versus Turbo Throwers. I have Nemesis winning 3-1. And then Wildfire versus Squall. I have Wildfire winning in a 3-0. I think Wildfire is a really good team. Even though being an Elim pool, I think that they could easily make a run or close to a run to that championship bracket. And then we have Chrysalis versus Boop. I have Chrysalis winning 3-1. And then final game for the lower bracket, I have Shake and Bake winning against Gehenna Gatekeepers 3-2.
All right. Let's go back to your upper bracket, Strix versus Big Bang Buccaneers.
I think Dr. Bethcon puts on a clinic and Big Bang Buccaneers win 3-0 over Strix.
Did you write that one? Did you pre-write that one?
No, that actually came to me. I was thinking about it.
I'm impressed. All right, next one.
And then I have Galactic Penguins winning 3-1 over the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. And then Koala King versus Jersey Boys. I think this is going to be an insane match to watch. I have Koala Kings winning in a map 5. I think Jersey Boys kind of had a little bit of a downfall, but I think they're gonna scrim hard and they're gonna come back with vengeance, something to prove. And then we have Frost Nova versus Doodles. I don't know about Doodles. They're kind of just hit or miss. When they're on, they completely destroy, and then when they're off, they get destroyed. So it's a very 50-50 team, but I think this match, they're going to get destroyed, and Frost Nova wins 3-1.
All right. Frost Nova moving on. Doodles going to the lower bracket. We'll come back and fill that out in just a moment. Florida, time for you to hop in here. Start us off. Geometric Strix.
All right, Geometric Strix. Actually, I kind of like Geometric, but I'm going to say Strix wins this one 3-1. For Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies versus Amateur Professionals, I do think it's going to be a close game, actually. Personally, I think AP is kind of underrated sometimes, so I'm going to say, but I do say FBRD does win 3-2 in that match. LF versus Jersey Boys. As someone who has played Jersey Boys, I'm a little bit worried about this match, so I have predicted a clean sweep for Luminous Foxes 3-0 over the Jersey Boys. And then it's time for the elephant in the room. Frost Nova versus Frost Bloom. I play for Frost Bloom. I have played for Frost Nova, so I know both of these teams. If I was a Frost Nova player, I'd probably predict Frost Nova, but I am a Frost Bloom player. So I'm going to predict Frost Bloom to win 3-2 over Frost Nova. I do think it's going to be an insanely close game, and that's probably going to be one of the best matches this week, outside of maybe the APF BRD match. But I think, yeah, that's just going to be a really tight game. Moving on to the lower bracket now. Nemesis versus Turbo Throwers. I think Nemesis does win. I do think that's going to be a really close game as well. So 3-2 for Nemesis. I actually have Squall beating Wildfire here. I think Squall does have some potential, and I've seen it every once in a while, so I think they can eke this one out as well, the 3-2. I have a lot of 3-2s down here. But Chrysalis versus Boop. We barely this past week, Frostbloom struggled with Chrysalis in an off week, but I also think Chrysalis is actually a really good team, a pretty good team. So I'm going to say they win it 3-0 against Boop. And then finally, Gehenna versus Shake and Bake. I have Gehenna beating Shake and Bake 3-1.
All right. Let's go back to the top here then. Strix versus Big Bang Buccaneers. Where do you stand?
So as much as I like Strix, I think Big Bang Buccaneers is kind of in an upper echelon, a little bit higher than the couple of other, is in a higher echelon than them, and I honestly have them clean sweeping Strix. Controversial opinion. So 3-0 for Big Bang Buccaneers. For FBRD versus Galactic Penguins, actually kind of lean towards the Galactic Penguins here. I have them winning 3-1. I do think that is going to be an intense game, though, but I kind of trust a little bit in the GP. For the next game, Luminous Foxes versus Koala Kings. I have Koala Kings beating Luminous Foxes. As much as I'd like an upset, I think Koala Kings is just too consistent right now. And then the next match, Frostbloom versus Doodles. Doodles is scary, and for the mere reason is Doodles is so unpredictable. You have no idea what's going to happen. There will be a little bit of a bias. I think I have predicted Frostbloom to win 3-2 over Doodles. It is a scary game though, and I would not be surprised if we lose this game because Doodles, you never know what's coming out of that.
Down to your lower bracket now. Oh, sorry. We'll fill out the rest of your lower bracket here. Pardon me.
Yeah.
After the rest of the picks, let's go to, as I always say, the correct picks. My picks. Started off with Geometric versus Strix. Geometric, seriously underrated team. They've looked very good this stage. They should be a 3 seed. Unfortunately, FBRD is a team I will be discussing very soon, and that's a reason why they're not a 3 seed is because FBRD is severely underseeded, and I'll talk about them in a little bit. Like I said, actually right now, FBRD versus AP. I don't think AP is nearly as rough as their Stage 2 performance would have you believe. I think FBRD, unfortunately, is one of the top 3 teams right now in Harmony. I think FBRD is playing really, really good Overwatch, and I expect them to win against amateur professionals, but this won't be the last thing we hear from amateur professionals this tournament. Jersey Boys versus Luminous Foxes. You know where I stand. I stand the Jersey Boys, and I'll continue to do that. Jersey Boys in a 3-2 matchup here. And then next matchup is Frostbloom versus Frost Nova. So Frost Nova was here first. They joined Tranquility before Frostbloom did. I think Frostbloom is today the better team than Frost Nova. So I pick Frostbloom to win this one. 3-1 is what I'm going to say here. Going to the lower bracket, Nemesis versus Turbo Throwers. For Turbo Throwers, I feel bad. They had a random draw at one of 2 opponents, either Nemesis or Chrysalis. Nemesis has looked really good most of the season. Chrysalis has looked not good pretty much all season. Unfortunately, they got Nemesis. That's just tough luck. And I pick Nemesis here over Turbo Throwers. If it was the other way around, I would take them over Chrysalis, but it's not. So, Squall versus Wildfire. Wildfire, I'm going to go with you guys here. I think it'll be a close match, 3-2, but I believe Wildfire will clutch out over Squall. Chrysalis versus Boop. Chrysalis versus Boop. Once again, Chrysalis, I think you lucked out on this one, finding an opponent that I think you match up better against. I would go with Chrysalis over Boop here in a 3-1. And then Gehenna Gatekeepers versus Shake and Bake. I think Shake and Bake's the best Elim Pool team, and it ain't close. I'm going to go with Shake and Bake over that one. I'm going to go 3-0 for that one, personally. Rest of the bracket here for me, Geometric versus Big Bang Buccaneers. I'm going with Big Bang over Geometric. I think it'll be a good matchup. I think Geometric, again, severely underrated, and I would expect them to make some noise this playoffs for sure. FBRD versus Galactic Penguins. In my opinion, this matchup could even be a finals preview with how good these teams are playing right now. I am going to go with FBRD winning the Ducky Bowl in this one and moving on. Let's go to our next one, which is Jersey Boys versus Koala Kings. Navino, you're going to hate me for this, but we all know your team is just a bunch of Brawl 1 tricks anyways. No, I'm just kidding. There's this myth that this map pool just sucks for Koala Kings. I don't get that myth at all. I think this map pool is awesome for Koala Kings. I think this, in fact, is perfect for them with the Null Pharah and not playing as good as they have right now. I think this could be like one of the better situations for Koala Kings. So yeah, it's Koala Kings here. It's. I love Jersey Boys as much as the next person does, but I don't think they stand a chance in this matchup. And that's not a hot mic take this time. Frostbloom versus Doodles. Frostbloom, Doodles. I'm going with Frostbloom. The reason I'm going with that is because they won't have Chae Young. I think Chae Young's their best player, and without Chae Young, I think they lose. That's pretty much what it is. So, going now to our... Oh, I got to fill out these. Sorry. And that is actually where I stop. I'm jumping the gun here. I want to say more. I have so much more to say. You know me, guys.
You almost pulled a me.
I almost pulled a Bowsy. I almost Bowsied the crap out of that one. So, all right. Moving on. Let's go back to Bowsy. Bowsy, let's build up towards your championship bracket here. Starting off first with Turbo Throwers taking on Amateur Professionals.
Obviously, I made the big upset for Turbo Throwers to beat Nemesis, but I think Amateur Professionals are going to rebound here. I have a full sweep for Amateur Professionals to beat the Turbo Throwers. Next match, Squall versus Geometric. I have Geometric beating Squall and eliminating them from the playoff bracket. Next up, Frostbloom versus Boop. I have Frostbloom sweeping Boop and moving on through the championship bracket. And finally, Jersey Boys versus Shake and Bake, which is one I just changed. I have Jersey Boys winning 3-2 over Shake and Bake. I originally had it a sweep, but I like Shake and Bake too much, and I think that they are a very scary opponent when you underestimate them.
All right. And let's finish out your Elim bracket or your lower bracket now. Start off with Amateur Professionals versus Strix.
Amateur Professionals versus Strix. I have Strix sweeping the Amateur Professionals and moving on to that decider match. Next, Geometric versus Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I have Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies winning in a 3-1 situation over Geometric. Excuse me. So that's Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies winning that. Next is Frostbloom versus Koala Kings. And I hate to say it to Florida. I think the Koala Kings are going to sweep Frostbloom and knock them out of the tournament. Sorry, Florida. And then the final match here before we get into the championship bracket building, I have Jersey Boys versus Frost Nova. I have Jersey Boys winning 3-2 over Frost Nova and knocking out the entirety of the Frost Org. I'm sorry, Rook.
Jersey Boys, the Frost Nova or the Frost Org killer apparently. Here we go. Next, I'm sorry. Let's build your championship bracket. Start off at the top. Big Bang versus Galactic Penguins.
Yep, for Big Bang Buccaneers versus Galactic Penguins, I have a full sweep in favor of the Big Bang Buccaneers. I think they get a 3-0 victory over the Galactic Penguins. Next up is Luminous Foxes versus Doodles. And again, this is another match I hate to predict because Doodles is literally an on and off team. They will win one week, they will lose the next. They will mess up your predictions and act like they don't care, which they don't probably. But I have Luminous Foxes winning 3-2 over Doodles in that matchup. And then in the lower bracket matches, first off, Strix versus Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I'm riding that Strix train, and I'm riding it for a long time. I think Strix beat Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, but it's going to be a close 3-2 matchup in there. And then the final match I have, Koala Kings versus Jersey Boys. As much as I love the Jersey Boys, as much as I like Godzilla, I have to say that Koala Kings will be going on to the championship bracket, winning against the Jersey Boys 3-1.
Koala Kings in the championship bracket, squeaking through, getting out of lower bracket there, and Bowsy's pick. Train, let's build your championship bracket. Who do you have winning, Nemesis or Amateur Professionals?
Again, I've gone back and forth on this one. I think both of these teams are really underrated. But I'm taking Amateur Professionals 3-2 over Nemesis. Final answer. I'm going to stop changing it and just commit to that, whether I feel good about it or not. Next, we have Wildfire and Strix right underneath. I'm going to take Strix 3-1 over Wildfire. I think they've had some brighter spots overall. Next, a take that's certain to make Rook upset in chat. I have Boop winning 3-1 over Frost Nova. I'll answer that if anyone has questions. but
I
wanna-
do. I do.
I'm holding back questions to be honest with
Okay.
you as well. So
Okay. The reason is because I think a lot of Boop's problems are communication reliant. Okay. Boop excels in a lot of these overtime scenarios where anxiety is high and people kind of pick up the slack in comms as a result of that. And I think playoff scenarios tend to kind of favor that more urgent, we need to get our stuff together kind of mentality. So I think Boop is a stronger playoff team than they are a regular season team, and that's my justification.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Disagree with me, hate me on Discord, whatever.
All right.
I farm
Cool.
your engagements, I thrive.
I will.
All right.
Hold on. I'm
Shake and bake
I'm
versus
typing up my twit longer right now.
Please twit longer.
I'm
I
messaging
live-
the entire Nova
I
team as we
live
speak,
for
and they're preparing to send you hate messages. Trust
About
me.
at
Building my
train.
ego,
Yeah.
We're loading it up.
My
We're
When
loading
I
it
am
up.
My
right
experience
1 out
with
of these
Train
10
Overwatch.
times, my ego inflates 11 times.
He's
My
carried by
experience
Polar,
with Train.
sadly.
I unfortunately am carried by Polar.
Yeah, we know.
Train just likes to
Uh,
bully the Frost Horde.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
What
I
have we ever
take
do to
joy
you,
in it.
Train?
What the
God.
hell, Train?
All right. Shake and Bake versus Jersey Boys. May not be a very brawl-heavy map pool, but I think Jersey Boys actually has a better look on dive than people think. I'm going to take Jersey Boys 3-0 over Shake and Bake here to finish out that round of the lower bracket.
All right. And AP versus Geometric.
AP versus Geometric. I've got Geometric 3-1 over AP. I could see that going either way, though. Then we've got Strix versus Galactic Penguins. I'm taking the Penguins for a 3-0 clean sweep of Strix. Unfortunately, the Boop train stops here against the Luminous Foxes as they get clean swept 3-0. And finally, the Jersey Boys run also comes to an end against Frost Bloom as they lose 3-2 in a very closely contested series.
All right. Frostbloom going to the lower bracket finals there. And Train, let's build that championship bracket. Who is winning? FBRD versus BB.
All right, Big Bang and FBRD. I think these are two of the best teams in the tier at the moment. I think Big Bang has the edge based on team play, but Duckies have a lot of really good bright spots, so we'll talk about that later. But Big Bang 3-1 over the Duckies in this round. Next, we have Koala Kings versus Doodles. I think Koala Kings are aware enough players and flexible enough to handle any Doodles madness that comes out. So I'm going to give Koala Kings the 3-0 victory there. Geometric versus the Galactic Penguins in the lower bracket. I've got to give some credit to the Penguins here. They've done a lot of great stuff this season. 3-0 to the Penguins over Geometric. And finally, Luminous Foxes versus Frost Bloom. We've got a 3-0 victory for the Foxes.
All right. Championship bracket built for Train. Let's go to PDK. Let's go through that lower bracket. Start us off. Nemesis versus AP.
I have Amateur Professionals winning 3-0. I think they're just. I mean, I had Nemesis win against Turbo Throwers, but I think the skill difference between AM Pro and Nemesis is way too large. I have them winning 3-0. Then I have Geometric against Wildfire. Again, another 3-0 in favor of Geometric. And then I have Chrysalis against Frostbloom. I have Frostbloom winning 3-1. I'm happy. Hopefully, Rook is happy to hear that. And then we have Shake and Bake against the Luminous Foxes. I have Luminous Foxes in a 3-0 as well. And then Amateur Professionals versus Strix. I think this is where the Amateur Professional runs end. I have Strix winning in a 3-0. And then FBRD versus Geometric. FBRD has kind of been on a tear recently. Can't really bet against them. I have FBRD 3-0 Geometric. And then Jersey Boys versus Frostbloom. Rook, this will not make you happy. Jersey Boys sweeps Frostbloom. And then, guess what? It's coming back. Luminous Foxes with another sweep over Doodles. And that is how my lower bracket goes.
All right. And champion bracket time. GP versus BBB. Where you at here?
Can't bet against BBB. Big Bang Buccaneers 3-0 Galactic Penguins to make it into that championship bracket. That bye.
All right.
Then Koala Kings versus Frost Nova. I have Koala Kings winning 3-1 over Frost Nova.
Frost Nova making another run from the 6th seed to the championship bracket. Just to tale as old as time, Rook. All right. And go ahead. Sorry, next one.
And then we have Strix versus FBRD. I have the Duckies winning 3-0. Again, it's just kind of hard to. FBRD is, I think, a top 3 team in the tier, and I think outside of the top 3, no one really contests them. And then Jersey Boys versus Luminous Foxes. I think this is going to be an insane match. But I have Luminous Foxes winning 3-2 over the Jersey Boys. And that is how my championship bracket plays out.
All right. Let's go to Florida. Start us off in the lower bracket. Nemesis taking on Amateur Professionals.
I've kind of been going back and forth on this one, but I think I'm going to lean Amateur Professionals takes the win 3-2. For Squall versus Geometric, I honestly think Geometric is actually a pretty good team, so I think they will win 3-1. I have on mine Chrysalis versus Frost Nova. I think that's going to be a clean sweep 3-0 for Nova. And then finally, Jersey Boys versus Gehenna Gatekeepers. Jersey Boys kind of destroys Gehenna. That would be also a 3-0. For the next round, I have Amateur Professionals versus Strix. I actually think it's going to be a decently close game, but I have Strix winning 3-2. For my next match, I kind of have an upset here. Geometric versus FBRD. I actually have Geometric winning 3-2. I've been looking into their matches, and I kind of been a lot more. I'm actually kind of impressed. I'm really, really impressed with Geometric, and I think they've had a rough time because they've had to face a lot of higher opponents. And I think they're going to surprise some people. So I think they upset the FBRD here. My next match, I have Frost Nova versus Luminous Foxes, and as much as it pains me to predict this, I have to predict Luminous Foxes over Frost Nova 3-2 in a close game. I hope it's a close game. Let's just say that. I'm probably losing my my Frost creds as we speak. And then finally, I have Doodles versus Jersey Boys on my bracket. I actually have Doodles winning 3-1 over the Jersey Boys, which I don't know if that's considered an upset, but I honestly think Doodles is just a weird team. You really can't tell anymore.
All right. And let's build a championship bracket. You got BBB versus GP. Where you at there?
I have this is gonna be actually a pretty close game. I have BBB 3-2ing over the Galactic Penguins. For the next match in a upset, I'm gonna have the Koala Kings beat Frost Bloom 3-1. Yes, you heard it here. I'm not that stupid. As much as there's pride, I have pride in the Bloom, and maybe this might be a counter jinx. I just think KK is a little bit too consistent right now. And then finally, for the lower bracket, I have Strix versus Geometric. Unfortunately, as much as I've been praising Geometric, I do think Strix in this situation is the better team. It'll be a close game, but I think Strix wins 3-2. And finally, Luminous Foxes versus Doodles. I think the Fox will get their revenge on the Weird Dog team, I guess. And 3-2 Doodles here and get to the championship bracket.
All right, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's start off with Nemesis versus AP. For me, it's AP right now. We'll talk more about AP in just a second. Wildfire versus Strix. I'm going with Wildfire. I'm sorry, I'm going with Strix in a 3-1 on that one. AP, by the way, wins 3-1 as well. Frost Nova versus Chrysalis. Frost Nova wins in a sweep, 3-0. Shake and Bake versus Luminous Foxes. I love Shake and Bake. It's kind of unfortunate they run against Luminous Foxes here this early. But so I'm going to go with Luminous Foxes, but I think Shake and Bake is the kind of team that could. Let's put it this way. If there's any one match where I feel like we might be surprised, I think that could be legitimately the run right there is Shake and Bake. I'm just saying, I think that team looks really impressive. There's not a shot on Luminous when I say that. It's more of a something I'm just saying about how good I think Shake and Bake has gotten as the season has gone on. AP versus Geometric. This is where I'm going to defer a little bit or differentiate from my peers a little bit. I'm going with Amateur Professionals. I think the Amateur Professionals tank line of Alt F4 and Shrek is absolutely outstanding. And I do think that tank line, when you're playing in these playoff situations, you need great leaders and a strong tank line. And I'm a really big fan of both Alt F4 and Shrek, so I have a feeling that team is going to move on right now. And I do think Alta 4 best off tank in the tier. That's my personal opinion. And I don't think it's that close.
+1.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes. And Train, you are uniquely qualified to talk about fantastic Harmony tier off tanks.
You know what?
So,
I sure am.
Right.
I guess I am.
Right. And that's coming from Train, the coach of BBB, and myself, the GM of BBB, who have a fantastic off tank on their team. So Just saying. So, anyways, Strix versus Galactic Penguins. Strix is done on this one. I think Strix falls to Galactic. Frost Nova versus Jersey Boys. I'm going with Jersey Boys. I think Jersey Boys is just too strong and too consistent to beat Frost Nova, who had a really, really rough stage 2. And then last but certainly not least, Luminous Foxes versus Doodles. I think Luminous gets their revenge on Doodles here and wins in a 3-0 fashion. Chant bracket time. I am going to go with kind of an interesting one here. I'm going with Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I've talked about this before. I don't like predicting my team. And this is kind of where I'm at with that one. I love BBB, and I think they very easily could take this, but superstition dictates that I do not pick the team. And also at the same time, Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, I think they are a top 3 team in the tier, not just in that bracket, in the tier. So I think that one actually is a very close matchup, and I could see Fire Breathing taking it. Koala Kings versus Frost Bloom. Frost Bloom, really great stage 2. Love what they're doing. Koala Kings is Koala Kings, and Koala Kings are going to do what Koala Kings does here, and Koala Kings will beat Frost Bloom in a 3-1 fashion. Amateur Professionals versus Galactic Penguins. Now, I love what AP has in that front tank line. I feel like the one problem for them is I think GP is just too consistent in all the other positions on the team compared to what AP is doing right now. So I think this one was a tough one because I think AP is going to be riding a nice momentum wave. But I'm going to go with GP winning out here and moving into the Elim bracket. Into the championship bracket. I got them winning 3-1. Jersey Boys versus Luminous Foxes. I have talked about this before, and I will talk about it again. Godzilla is my hero, and I moved Jersey Boys into the championship bracket. I love Godzilla, and this is a known fact. Godzilla is the meanest main tank in the world, and I love playing against him because I've never played against a Reinhardt that has boomed me so hard than Godzilla. Actually, no, I should rephrase. There's 2 Reinhardts that have ever boomed me that hard. One of them is Godzilla. The other one is no, it's not UPDK. God, no, the other one is Jewish Missile on the sticks.
On sticks,
All
there
right.
you go.
So we got championship brackets. Let's break them down, guys. Bowsy, kick us off. Who is winning Harmony tier?
Let's start on a spicy note, shall we? Our first match, Galactic Penguins versus Koala Kings, the preseason rematch. And I have Galactic Penguins beating the Koala Kings 4-3 and knocking out the Kings out of the bracket early. Next match, Doodles versus Strix. And again, I don't like predicting Doodles. I don't like predicting Doodles matches. So I'm going to predict Strix to win 4-1 here. I think they're just better than Doodles right now. And honestly, if I predict against Doodles at least once, everyone's bracket's going to be destroyed. So I'm just ready for it to be. I'm just ready for it at this point.
Chaos.
Luminous
When
versus
Doodles exists, it's chaos.
Luminous versus GP. Who do you got?
I have Luminous Foxes winning 4-1. I think Galactic Penguin streak unfortunately ends here.
And BBB versus Strix.
Another rematch in the playoffs. This time, once again, I have Big Bang Buccaneers winning, but in a map 7 situation. I think Strix will be stronger and more prepared to take on the Big Bang Buccaneers then.
All right. And Luminous versus Big Bang Buccaneers. Who wins Harmony tier?
This is an interesting one, and I have thought about this a lot. This match was a week 3 match in the stage number 1. It was probably one of the closest matches, and I still think this was one of the closest matches. So I'm predicting a close one here, and I'm predicting the Big Bang Buccaneers to get revenge on the Luminous Foxes and to be your Season 8 Harmony tier champions.
All right. Big Bang Buccaneers from Bowsy. And Train, where are you at in Harmony tier? Let's start off Luminous Foxes versus FBRD.
All right. FBRD, I think, has kind of slid under the radar for a little bit here. Really, really good team. I think people are high on Luminous. I think they're better than a 5 seed for sure. But I think FBRD is significantly better than a 3 seed. So I'm going to take FBRD 4-2 over the Foxes in this round. For Doodles and Galactic Penguins, I'm going to give Galactic Penguins the win here 4-1. I think Doodles' strangeness will kind of catch GP unaware on at least one map in this series. And that gives us FBRD versus the Koala Kings in our semifinal matchup. Controversially, I'm going to take FBRD here over KK. I think both teams are really, really good. This could easily be a finals game in a different universe. But I think FBRD kind of plays into, Derpy Shark on the Soldier, Sleepy on the Tracer. They throw a Zen in there. All of a sudden, it becomes really, really hard to deal with if they play it properly. I think by now, they would have it kind of figured out. So I'm taking FBRD 4-3 over Koala Kings in a close series. But again, that could go either way. Big Bang versus GP. This is a game we've seen before. So I think results probably repeat themselves here. I'm giving Big Bang the 4-1 over Galactic Penguins, which leads us to an FBRD Big Bang final. Bias makes me want to pick FBRD here, but at a certain point, I think Big Bang kind of has the mental diff here. I'm giving them the 4-2 over FBRD, making them your NA Harmony Tier champions of Season 8.
First and foremost, I'd like to apologize to everybody who just received that ghost ping from Apathy on the Trank server. It turns out you can accidentally ping the NA role. If you're a moderator, please.
Yep,
I'll do it.
No.
No.
Genuinely, if somebody does that, I'll just ban them, just to forewarn you.
Yeah, remember in
Sorry.
season 3 when everyone had the permission to add everyone?
Yes. Don't remind me. By the way, don't test that. If you test it, I will just ban you, and I'm not kidding about that.
Really?
Yes. Don't test it. Don't. Just don't.
No,
Just know better. Know better. Anyways, hi. I see a few people in here are like, gosh, these brackets aren't very good, by the way. And just as a reminder, we have a bracket challenge. in the Tranquility
Yeah.
Discord, guys. Go to announcements,
Mhm.
join the bracket challenge, show us how your brackets are better than ours, and when our brackets end up being better than yours, we expect you to apologize on Twitter.
Not
Also,
ours.
counterpoint, cope.
Yeah. Also,
Just be
counterpoint,
better.
cope plus L plus ratio plus no skill plus no
Cope's
wenches plus.
Plus, I'm on the podcast and you're not,
Yeah,
therefore
yeah.
my opinion
Oh!
is
Plus
valid.
content creation
Oh!
team plus your
Plus
opinion
you
is
have
irrelevant.
Apply to the
plus-
CCT. Maybe
Yes.
you can have your bad opinion
I
shown
got
on
it,
stream.
so you guys
That'd be
can get
great.
in.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I
no,
know,
we
yeah.
allowed PDK, and really, we'll let any idiot into here if we let PDK
The
in.
bar is pretty
So-
low. The bar is
Yeah.
pretty low.
Oh,
The
It
bar
is
is
really low.
extremely low,
So-
extremely low. Anyways, speaking of PDK, hey, how's it going, buddy? You want to go to the
Man.
championship bracket?
Sure. So we have the Luminous Foxes versus the Galactic Penguins. I have Luminous Foxes winning 4-2. I think Foxes are just a really good team. I think 5 seed is very, very low for them. I think they could easily be a 1 or 2 seed. Then we have Frost Nova versus FBRD. I think FBRD is just on a tier of their own right now. I have them winning 4-0 over Frost Nova. Then we have Luminous Foxes versus Koala Kings. Luminous Foxes is going to dethrone the Kings. I have them beating Koala in a 4-2 match. Then we have the Big Bang Buccaneers versus FBRD. Riding the train all the way. Big Bang Buccaneers 4-1. Can I?
How many
And
times have we said train this podcast? by
way
the way?
too many times,
So many
PDK.
times.
Way too many times. Where are we going? Where are we going with this one?
Why you say my name? There's
No,
I'm not the only one that
I know.
said it.
I
not
wasn't.
you.
I
It's
wasn't.
not you.
I wasn't. It's your
It's
turn.
everyone.
I was trying to say PDK. Who wins the championship?
Oh, it's Big Bang Buccaneers in a 4-1.
All right, Big Bang. All right, and Florida. Let's go to your champ bracket.
All right. So for Luminous Foxes versus Galactic Penguins, I agree. I think LF is a little bit low. Is seeded a little bit low for how good I think they are. So I think I have a 4-2 for Luminous Foxes. This for Strix Frostbloom, I think this is a 7-map series, and I'm predicting Frostbloom. There is no bias there whatsoever.
No, none.
Absolutely none. I think that will be a close game. Anyways, for the next game, LF versus Koala Kings. I think that's also going to be a really close game. It's going to be a 7-map series again, but I do have Koala Kings barely edging out Luminous. And then I have Big Bang Buccaneers versus Frostbloom. I have decided to go with the extremely biased pick of Big Bang Buccaneers. I'm not that stupid. And also, I don't want to jinx myself.
Fair.
So again, my Frost credentials is currently being deleted as we speak. So I think that's going to be a 4-2, by the way. So my finals is Koala Kings versus Big Bang Buccaneers. It's another 7-map series for me. And despite overcoming all the odds, I think it's going to be the Big Bang Buccaneers winning the championship. Actually, 4-3 in a 7-map series,
So-
and yeah, I just think they're in a different tier right now.
So
personally.
Florida's got Big Bang. Bowser's got Big Bang. Tran's got Big Bang. PDK's got Big Bang. Let's get to the correct predictions now. Big Bang
Oh, boy.
Buccaneers versus Jersey Boys. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I don't like picking the teams that I'm involved in or manage. I'm picking Jersey Boys over Big Bang Buccaneers. And it's a double whammy for me because, you know what? I love Jersey Boys. Just saying. And then Galactic Penguins versus Frostbloom. Let's face it. We're not all Frostbloom believers. And I understand why. I mean, let's face it. B pool team. Galactic Penguins an A pool team, preseason champion. I'm picking Frostbloom. I'm riding that train. Let's go, Frostbloom.
Just go to the
Set the
camp.
tier.
Just
Go
go to the
Frostbloom!
camp.
Let's
There we
go. Let's
There
go,
we go.
Frostbloom.
Yeah.
I'm on that train.
T-shirt.
We're
T-shirt.
riding the
T-shirt.
train.
Let's go.
Let's go. Jersey Boys versus Koala Kings. Now we have a matchup here of two completely misunderstood Brawl OTPs that aren't really Brawl OTPs. I'm going to go because I believe history repeats itself. I'm going with Jersey Boys over Koala Kings. They already lost to them once this playoffs, but I believe in history, and I think Jersey boys are going to pass the Koala Kings and win this one in this round. And then FBRD versus Frostbloom. I have said it before. I'll say it again. I think FBRD is a top 3 team in the tier. I picked them not only to beat Frostbloom, but I picked them to be your Harmony tier champion as well.
Drug.
Ooh, dang.
So
That
Harmony
is
tier
based.
champion, fire breathing rubber duckies. It's more likely than a lot of you, I think, that you really think. Get aboard that train, guys. It's a good train to be on as well. So train.
Can we
Train.
just point out? Can we just point out real quick that both our championship teams are the most tongue-twisting teams in Harmony tier right now?
Yeah, my mouth hurts from all the syllables that I've been saying. So, all right, guys, we have our comms check coming up next. Thank you to Florida for participating here, and we're going to back with your Discord tier in just a moment.
Anybody want to be in comms check this week? Now's your chance.
Yo, we're doing a 5v6. We got the shmoney
I'm not even
in our
close to
favor.
point yet.
I'm walking. I'm taking my time.
Oh, you're all the way.
Okay,
listen.
I'm not even where I need to be yet.
Guys,
Where
pistol
we
work.
right here? Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh, they're going. Oh no. Help.
Do it.
I'm gonna just.
Are you just picking them off after slam? Or like after
No, that's the crazy.
No, he's just doing it
all the time.
Normally, yeah.
Like, you're about to make me get unsportsmanlike in this motherfucker. I swear to God, I have no idea. Like, I'm gonna start typing in all caps.
Someone clip it. Someone clip that,
I'm
please.
gonna start typing in all caps. Start saying, like, stop poking, like, stop testing my man Phoenix. Oh my God.
They're going. Wait, I got a plan.
Cast spotlight.
I'm gonna feed.
You can mine this side. You can mine spotlights. Yeah.
Just one.
Push this, Ursa.
Mega.
Ursa one.
Yeah.
Who's hosting?
Ooh, cute e-girl Reinhardt main wearing sexy bikini.
What?
Where?
Then what are you playing?
Where?
Icy.
Not sure. I forgot.
Ship shape.
Howdy do, baby.
Lower of form.
Ow! I hit you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Matthew Donovan. Happy birthday to you. Are you 1? Are you 2? Are you 3?
Never mind.
Ain't no way Panther got rolled and came back on Zen. Ain't no way.
Hey, they're not running tracer, so it's fine. Oh,
Hey, I'm calling this in. Calling this in. 3, 2, 1. Oh.
Absolute pose though.
Deep is that point. I have mines. I'm just gonna mines here.
Use any ult you have.
DVD back. Nice guys.
Why is it Let's fucking go, guys! Why is it this point that we can never, like, kill anything fast enough? Because you're not supposed to!
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, like, that's why you don't, like, don't do...
Yeah.
Nova?
Can you
Nova? Nova?
The Torb? Yorn?
Yorn Torb? Yorn Torb?
Sorry, my one of my.
That's it? One of his. That's it.
Oh my God, it's Andy.
Hi Andy, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Andy.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Happy Hanukkah.
Can we sing
Thanks,
happy
guys.
birthday?
Happy
Andy, guess what?
birthday
The
to
curse is still
you.
happening.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Are you 1?
I
Are
had
you
to go
2?
hard for the end.
Are you 3? Are you 4? Someone stop me. Please.
What?
No, keep going.
He's half in,
What? Oh. I've never heard that call out.
I'm on.
I don't know what else to call
I'm on
him.
Ryan. I'm on. Let's go.
Nice, he's on.
Nice.
It's the Moira and...
Moira.
More in middle. She's one.
Done.
Then-
Sure.
Welcome back, everybody, here to the final bracket prediction of the night. I am very tired. We've been here for 2 hours and 20 minutes so far, and we bring in our final representative here doing the Discord tier with us, and that is Swifters from Joey Esports. How are you doing, Swifters?
It feels pretty good to be here, on the Tranquility podcast. It's great opportunity to spread word,
This guy.
This guy
great.
here. This guy here, guys.
So true.
Discord tier. Let's start it off. Bowsy. Let's start plowing through.
All right, let's try to plow through this as fast as I can. First off, Frost Surge versus Quokka Queens. I have Quokka Queens winning 3-2-1 over Frost Surge. Next up, Rampaging Inferno versus Space Created. I have Rampaging Inferno taking an upset victory over Space Created 3-1. Next up, Redacted versus Ragnarok Fenrir. I have Redacted winning 3-1 over Ragnarok. And our final upper bracket match, Oath versus Valkyrie. I have Oath getting a clean sweep over Valkyrie in that first match. Heading down to the lower bracket, I have Hammerhead getting a sweep over Monarch. Next is Domination versus Inferno Foxes. I have Domination winning in a map 5 situation against the Inferno Foxes. Next is Firefight versus Poseidon. I have Firefight clean sweeping Poseidon. And to end it all off, Oreo Fleet versus Storybook Heroes. I have Storybook Heroes winning 3-2 over Oreo Fleet.
Storybook Heroes versus Oreo Fleet, by the way, our Thursday night feature. Let's get to your second round here in the upper bracket to settle down our lower bracket a little bit here. Who do you got?
For Quokka Queens versus Joey Esports, I have Joey Esports clean sweeping the Quokka Queens. Next, Renegades versus Rampaging Inferno. I have Renegades winning 3-1 over Rampaging Inferno. Cosmic Castaways versus Redacted. Train will be happy to hear that I am predicting Cosmic Castaways 3-0 over Redacted. And I can tell by his cam he is. And finally, in the upper bracket, SEAL Team Spuds winning 3-1 over Oath.
All right. We'll get back to Bowsy in just a minute here. Train, who do you have in your Discord tier bracket?
All right, right away, we've got Quokka Queens with a 3-1 win over Frost Surge. Next, we've got an underrated Rampaging Inferno team, I might add, winning 3-1 over Space Created. Then we have Redacted with a convincing 3-0 sweep of Ragnarok Fenrir. For our last first round game of our upper bracket here, we've got Oath with a 3-0 victory over Valkyrie. Bowsy and I agree on that one.
All right. And let's get to our next one here after the Oath Valkyrie. That is lower bracket Hammerhead versus Monarch.
All right, Hammerhead, I've got winning 3-0 over Monarch. I think Hammerhead has been on the up and up ever since that Oreo Fleet game on feature. Really exciting game. Good play out of Hammerhead. Next, we have Domination with a 3-1 win over Inferno Foxes. Then we have Firefight with a 3-1 win over a strong Poseidon team. Then we've got Oreo Fleet with a convincing 3-0 sweep of Storybook Heroes to wrap out the first round of our lower bracket.
All right, back to the upper then. Finish that one off here. Quokka Queens versus Joey Esports. What are you doing there?
All right, in a classic rematch of sister teams, we've got Joey Esports with a 3-0 victory over Quokka Queens. Next, Rampaging Inferno versus Renegades, I think, will be a really, really close game. Both these teams are on the up and up at the end of Stage 2, but I'm taking Rampaging Inferno with a narrow 3-2 victory.
All right.
Next, I think Cosmic will repeat their success against Redacted in a 3-0 win. And then we have the SEAL Team Spuds winning 3-0 over Oath.
Boo, hiss.
Boo, late night puns.
That terrible pun.
You're not funny.
You're not funny. Boo.
No, you aren't.
Anyways, let's do your let's go now to the PDK. Started off at the top.
We have I have Quokka Queens winning 3-0 over Frost Surge in the first match. And then next match, I have Space Created taking it 3-1 over Rampaging Inferno. And then for Redacted and Fenrir, I have Redacted winning 3-0 against Fenrir. And then Valkyrie versus Oath, kind of an upset, maybe. I have Valkyrie winning 3-2 over Oath. And then for the lower bracket, we have Hammerhead against Monarch. I have Hammerhead winning 3-0 against Monarch. And then Inferno Foxes taking it 3-1 over Domination. You know, straying away from Tran and Bowsy there. And then Firefight versus Poseidon. I have Firefight taking it 3-0. And then Oreo Fleet versus Storybook Heroes. Excuse me. I have Oreo Fleet winning 3-0 against Storybook Heroes.
All right. And your upper bracket, let's wrap that up here. Who do you got? Quokka versus Joey.
I have Joey winning 3-0 against Quokka Queens. And then I have Renegades beating Space Created 3-1. And then Cosmic versus Redacted, just like repeat of what happened last time they played. Cosmic 3-0 over Redacted. And then Spuds versus Valkyrie. The infamous curse, SEAL Team Spuds 3-1 over Valkyrie.
Hey, they broke the curse last week.
Well, it's coming back.
It only enters remission and never truly.
It never truly leaves. All right. We will come back to close out your lower bracket in just a moment. Swifters, start us off at the top. Frost Surge versus Quokka.
Yeah, I got Quokka winning 3-0 for first match. Second match, I have Rampaging Inferno winning 3-2 over Space Created. I have Redacted winning 3-1 over Fenrir. And then I have Oath winning 3-2 over Valkyrie.
Oath 3-2 over Valkyrie.
And then
all right, next
lower bracket.
Let's go.
I got Hammerhead 3-0ing Monarch. I'm a big Wolf supporter, so I have Inferno Foxes winning 3-1 over Domination. Then I have Firefight winning 3-1, and I have Oreo Fleet also winning 3-1.
All right.
I got a lot of 3-1s in lower bracket.
That's fair. All right, top of the bracket. Let's go back to Quokka versus Joey. Marsupial Gaming Civil War continues.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Joey 3-1 because I hate 2CP. So that's that, and then I'm gonna have Renegades also winning 3-1 because I don't like 2CP, and I think a lot of the better teams are gonna lose 2CP. Then I have Cosmic Castaways winning 3-0 over Redacted, and I have SEAL Team Spuds winning 3-0 over Oath.
Now, question: does that mean that Cosmic and SEAL Team Spuds like 2CP because they win 3-0, or what does that mean?
Yeah.
Does that mean they're not one of the better teams?
No, they just play ball comps, and ball comps are good on 2CP.
That's
and
true. That's true.
And boring.
I don't like ball comps. Hence why I don't like 2CP.
Fair enough.
I play ball comp and I hate 2CP, just for the record. But I understand.
All right. Let's go to the based picks. My picks. Based picks coming around the corner here. Frost Surge versus Quokka Queens. I'm gonna start it off with Quokka versus Frost Surge. No offense to Frost Org. I think you ran up against the buzzsaw here when you ended up drawing Quokka, and I'm sorry. I don't think that's the team you wanted to face here. Rampaging versus Space Created. I think Rampaging wins this one, but I do think this won't be the last time we'll hear from Space Created this playoffs. We'll talk about them in just a few minutes. Fenrir versus Redacted. Fenrir, not really liking the swing that they're on right now. I'm going with Redacted over Fenrir. And then our final match here, Oath versus Valkyrie. Oath, my favorite story in the entire tournament right now this season. I got them winning over Valkyrie 3-1. Going to the lower bracket now, Hammerhead versus Monarch. Hammerhead gets the 3-0 there. Domination versus Inferno Foxes. Domination, unfortunately, ran up against Inferno Foxes when they started finally finding their stride. I got Inferno Foxes winning this one 3-1. Domination versus Poseidon. I'm sorry, not Domination versus Poseidon, pardon me. Firefight versus Poseidon. I got Firefight winning that one 3-0. Really good players on that team. Storybook Heroes versus Oreo Fleet. I think Storybook is being severely overlooked here. I think Oreo Fleet is on a pretty much just a straight downswing. And I think Storybook Heroes ride some of that Elim Pool momentum, and I think they can take out Oreo Fleet here 3-1. Finishing off the upper bracket here, Joey Esports versus Quokka Queens. This is my upset of the first bit here. I got Quokka beating Joey moving down here, and I know Swifters is in shambles, but I got Quokka beating Joey and moving on there. Rampaging versus Renegades. I got Renegades moving on through there and winning against Rampaging. I got 3-0 on that score. Redacted versus Cosmic Castaways. And did you think that was the upset of the tournament? Because I have news for you. Redacted are going to the losers bracket, and Cosmic Castaways will win 3-0 there. And then Oath versus SEAL Team Spuds. SEAL Team Spuds take this one in a 3-1 fashion over Oath. All right. We're going to continue now back into Bowsy as we fill out their lower bracket, and we'll start with Hammerhead taking on Space Created.
Start off, Hammerhead versus Space Created. I have Hammerhead knocking out Space Created early in a map 5 situation. Gonna be difficult match there, but I honestly could expect that to go either way. Domination versus Frost Surge. I have Domination getting their revenge after that Week 9 feature match, and I have Domination winning 3-2 over Frost Surge. Firefight versus Valkyrie. I have Firefight knocking the Angels out of the sky and winning 3-0. And final match of this week, Storybook Heroes versus Ragnarok Fenrir. As much as I would love to keep boosting up Storybook Heroes, I have to pick Ragnarok Fenrir, winning 3-1 over Storybook Heroes.
All right, let's continue through your lower bracket. Hammerhead versus Quokka.
Hammerhead versus Quokka. No surprise here. I'm picking Quokka Queens to win 3-0 over Hammerhead. Domination versus Rampaging Inferno. I have Rampaging Inferno winning 3-1 over Domination. Redacted versus Firefight. I have Redacted winning 3-2 over Firefight. And finally, Ragnarok Fenrir versus Oath. You know I have to ride that Oath train. I'm picking Oath 3-2 over Ragnarok Fenrir.
All right. And let's fill out your champ bracket, Bowsy. Joey
Starting
Esports.
off with Joey Esports. Yep, Joey Esports versus Renegades. I have Joey Esports winning that in a clean sweep. Same thing with Cosmic Castaways versus SEAL Team Spuds. I have Cosmic Castaways winning in a clean sweep over SEAL Team. And then in the decider matches, we'll start off with Quokka Queens versus Rampaging Inferno. And this is probably going to be my biggest upset yet. I have Rampaging Inferno beating Quokka Queens 3-2 and making it to the championship bracket. And then in the final match before our championship bracket matches, Redacted versus Oath. As much as I love Oath, I also love Redacted a lot. So I'm picking Redacted to win 3-1 and go on to the championship bracket.
All right. There's your championship bracket from Bowsy Train. Where are we going here next?
All right, so let's see here. We've got Hammerhead and Space Created, I believe, is my first match to read out. I think that's right. Okay, so we've got Hammerhead with the 3-2 victory over Space Created. Very closely contested match. Both these teams a little underrated. Speaking of underrated, we've got Frost Surge versus Domination. I think Frost Surge is a really, really talented team. Played them back in Stage 1. I think they deserve a lot more credit than they've been given. So I'm taking Frost Surge 3-1 over Domination. Next, we have Firefight 3-0 over Valkyrie. After that, we've got Oreo Fleet with a 3-1 win over Ragnarok Fenrir. And that is it for that round of our lower bracket.
All right, next round of the lower bracket then. Hammerhead Quokka.
All right, Hammerhead Quokka. We've got Quokka Queens winning 3-0. And Frost Surge Renegades, I've got Frost Surge winning 3-0. Again, maybe a bit of an upset here. Frost Surge on the up and up. I've been impressed by them so far.
That is definitely, I would definitely call that an upset. So, all right, let's do your next one then.
Firefight and Redacted. We've got Redacted winning in a 3-1. And then we have Oath with a 3-1 win over Oreo Fleet.
All right. And let's build your champ bracket now. Joey versus Rampaging Inferno.
All right. Rampaging Inferno may be better than they look, but Joey Esports is as good as they look, so they're going to win 3-0 here. In our rematch of preseason finals, we have the Cosmic Castaways and SEAL Team Spuds. I think it will be equally hotly contested. Here I gave the edge to Cosmic 3-2. Then we've got Quokka Queens with a 3-1 win over Frost Surge. The underdog run ends here. Then we've got Redacted with a 3-0 win over Oath.
All right. There's the champ bracket for Train. Let's go now to PDK. Hammerhead versus Rampaging. Start us off, sir.
I have Rampaging Inferno taking a 3-1 win over Hammerhead. And then Frost Surge versus the Inferno Foxes. I have Frost Surge winning 3-1. Another 3-1. But then we have Oath versus Firefight. I have Oath with a clean sweep, 3-0. And then Oreo Fleet versus Ragnarok Fenrir. I have Oreo Fleet winning 3-0.
All right. Let's finish off that lower bracket then. Rampaging versus Quokka Queens.
I have agreeing with everyone else here. I have Quokka Queens taking the Rampaging Inferno. I have them beating them 3-1. And then Space Created versus Frost Surge. I have Space Created winning on a map 5. Another map 5 here with Oath and Redacted. I think this can be a very, very close match. Probably one of the best matches of the playoffs. I have Oath winning 3-2. And then Oreo Fleet versus Valkyrie. A little bit of an upset, I might say. I have Oreo Fleet winning 3-1 against Valkyrie.
All right. Champ bracket time. Joey Esports versus Renegades. What do you think?
I have Joey Esports winning 3-0. You just can't really bet against them right now. They're dominant, to say the least.
All right, so Joey getting that first round bye. Renegades relegated to the first round there. Cosmic versus SEAL Team Spuds.
Have to agree with Train and Bowsy. I have Cosmic Castaways beating SEAL Team Spuds 3-1.
All right, and let's finish off the championship bracket. Your lower bracket is Quokka versus Space Created.
I have Quokka Queens winning that 3-0 to make it into the champion bracket. And then Oath versus Oreo Fleet, riding that train all the way to champs. Oreo Fleet upset 3-1, makes the champs.
So Oreo Fleet with the upset there. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, Oreo Fleet wins 3-1.
In the championship bracket. That's I think that's the highest seed we've had outside of EU so far in the championship bracket. Let's go now, Swifters. Let's build up your bracket here. Start off with that Hammerhead versus Space Created.
I got Space Created winning 3-1 in that matchup.
All right.
Then I have Inferno Foxes going on a rampage again, beating Frost Surge 3-2. Big Wolf Believer again. Then I have Valk beating Firefight 3-1. And then I have Oreo Fleet beating Fenrir 3-1 as well.
All right, and let's finish off that lower bracket. Space Created versus Quokka Queens.
I have Quokka Queens winning 3-0. And then once again, I have Inferno Foxes winning 3-2 because I think they have a really good chance and a really good bracket to actually make it to the spot where they could win and get in. Then I have Valk beating Redacted 3-2. And then I have Oreo Fleet beating Oath 3-2. I think all of those matches are going to be really close, except for QQ. And then, yeah, I don't know why Steel Team Spuds is down there.
I accidentally I fixed it. I fixed it. All right,
Yeah.
let's build your championship bracket then. Joey versus Renegades.
I have Joey winning 3-0. No bias at all.
No,
of course.
none.
Then I have Steel Team Spuds actually getting the Overwatch 2 buff and beating Cosmic Castaways 3-2. Because Overwatch 2 beta does drop in like 12 hours. So I believe in the Overwatch 2 buff for Steel Team Spuds. Then sadly in lower bracket, I'm gonna have to have Inferno Fox's run end to Quaka Queens. They're gonna get beat 3-0 by QQ.
Oof.
And then I have Valk actually making it to championship bracket, beating Oreo Fleet 3-2.
All right. And my championship bracket now. And a lower bracket will start off Space Created. I think Space Created, Veli's back in the fold, and I think they beat Hammerhead 3-0. Inferno versus Frost Surge. I think Inferno looks a lot better this Elim pool, but I think Frost Surge is being a bit underrated. They go into this one, win 3-1. Valkyrie versus Firefight. I think Firefight win in a close one. I got them winning 3-2. Storybook Heroes versus Fenrir. This is my upset this round. I got Fenrir going out of the tournament here, losing to Storybook Heroes in a 3-2 match. Going back now to top of the lower bracket, we have Space Created versus Joey Esports. I think Space Created, unfortunately, they run into the absolute buzzsaw that is Joey Esports here, and Joey Esports kind of crushes them 3-0. Frost Surge versus Rampaging Inferno. I am going to go with Frost Surge to get the upset here over Rampaging Inferno. Again, I'm really high up on Frost Surge. I think Rampaging has looked good this season, but I think Frost Surge is peaking right now, and I'm going to go with Frost Surge to push through here. Redacted versus Firefight. I think Redacted win that one fairly easily, 3-0. Storybook Heroes versus Oath. I think this is where the story ends for Storybook Heroes. Oath takes it 3-0 in that round. Champ bracket time. Quaka versus Renegades. I'm going to go with Quaka Queens taking down the Renegades. I really like this map pool for the Quaka Queens. I really think this map pool plays a lot into their strengths, and I'm a huge Mattson fan. Mattson is cracked and crazy and probably should be an MVP candidate, if not the MVP winner. Just saying. And I mean, I've talked up a lot of good MVP candidates in Discord tier, but I don't think I think right now Mattson is probably one of the best players in the tier, bar none. And in the other one here, Steel Team Spuds versus Cosmic Castaways. I've said it before, don't pick your team. So I'm picking my team. Cosmic Castaways finally will lose to Steel Team Spuds. Third time's a charm. 3-2 Spuds. All right. And now the rest of the championship bracket here. Joey Esports versus Frost Surge. Joey Esports win that one 3-0. Redacted versus Oath. I am an Oath believer. Oath championship bracket material beating Redacted in a close one 3-2. Let's go to the championship brackets now and wrap up our evening. Bowsy.
Yeah. And also real quick before you go into your championship bracket, Joey Esports and Oath should be flipped on that.
Should they?
On your,
should
on
they?
Your bracket.
Should
they should.
No, they shouldn't. Let's go.
Match 23, match 24 winners.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, should they though? Bowsy, go ahead.
In a sense, maybe they shouldn't be, but okay. Now we'll move on to my bracket to get things interesting. Starting off with Renegades versus Redacted. I have Renegades winning 4-0 over Redacted. Next, Steel Team Spuds versus Rampaging Inferno. I also have Steel Team Spuds winning, but in a 4-2 score over Rampaging Inferno. The bull stops here, unfortunately. Next up, Renegades versus Cosmic Castaways. And this is where stuff gets interesting. I have Renegades winning 4-3 over Cosmic Castaways. Hate to break it to you, Train.
Yeah, I respect it.
Yep. And then in the second semifinals match, Joey Esports versus SEAL Team Spuds. I have Joey Esports winning 4-2, which leads me to my finals match for Discord tier, Renegades versus Joey Esports. And as a man once said, never sleep on Joseph Electronic Sports. Joey Esports are the Season 8 Discord tier champions.
Nobody liked it.
Nobody liked it, except
I have their team run. I don't even like it.
I love
It's
Marsupial Gaming.
Even
I don't.
Navino's on the team and he hates it. So, all right, Train. Let's go through your championship bracket.
All right, first match. We've got Rampaging Inferno versus Redacted. Taking Redacted with a 4-1 victory there. CL Team Spuds versus Quokka Queens. I've got Quokka with a very closely contested 4-3 victory over the Spuds. In our next round, somehow, I have created a scenario where the Cosmic Castaways play Redacted for the third time this season. And I got to give Cosmic a 4-1 win there over Redacted.
Wait, third time? Did you play in
Yeah,
preseason?
we played in
Stage 2, upper
two.
bracket, championship bracket.
So I'm so sorry. I don't know how that happened. It should never happen, but it'd be like that.
Sometimes double limb do be like that.
Yeah, it do be like that. Next, we've got Joey Esports versus Quokka Queens. I'm going to give Joey the 4-0 win over Quokka, which leads us to a Cosmic Castaways Joey Esports finale. And I'm going to give Joey the 4-2 victory over Cosmic in the finals.
All right, Joey Esports winning the Discord tier championship according to Train. PDK, you start us off. Oreo Fleet versus Renegades.
Riding that Oreo Fleet train a little bit longer. I have them upset Renegades in a map 8 scenario. 4-3-1 Oreo Fleet.
All right.
And then we have Steel Team Spuds
And
against Quokka. I hate doing this, but I have Steel Team Spuds winning 4-2. I think Quokka wins every single map Capital's in, and then when Capital's out, Steel Team Spuds win. Just my opinion. And then there's Oreo Fleet versus Cosmic. Sadly, this is where it stops. Cosmic pound down Oreo Fleet 4-0 to get to the finals. Then we have Joey Esports versus Steel Team Spuds. Have Joey Esports winning 4-2 to get to the finals. Cosmic Castaways versus Joey Esports. Train, I have you winning 4-2. Cosmic Castaways is the Discord tier champion. Swifters, I'm not sorry.
I wouldn't be sorry either. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's have Swifters tell us what Swifters thinks. Start us off.
I wonder.
Start us off. Valkyrie versus Renegades.
I have Renegades winning. This is first to
4.
Yeah, I have Renegades winning 4-1 against Valkyrie. And then in the next one, I have Cosmic Castaways winning 4-1 as well. And then top side, I have SEAL Team Spuds beating Renegades 4-2. And then I have Joey beating Cosmic Castaways in 6. Joey in 6. I mean, I'm a Bucks fan. Joey in 6. It's as simple as that.
You had to say that.
And then in grand finals, once again, Joey in 6. It's that simple.
Like
just Joey in 6.
I bring up the
Bucks.
Joey in 6. All right, fair enough. All right, and my Discord tier picks, as I've said before, the correct picks: Oath versus Renegades. Oath, and this is probably the sentimental, emotional person in me, but I am believing in Oath. Oath going to the semifinals. Renegades lose this one in a 4-2. Joey Esports versus Cosmic Castaways. I have Joseph Electronic Sports knocking out Cosmic Castaways early here. Unfortunately, Cosmic Castaways go down to Joey. And we have Oath versus Steel Team Spuds. I've said before, I've said it again, do not predict your team. So this time, I'm not. And I'm going to pick Oath to win in that round. And then next is Quaka Queens versus Joey Esports. I am going with Joey Esports to get the revenge on on Quaka Queens. And that brings us to the ultimate villain in Joey Esports. I kid, not really. Versus the ultimate underdog story in Oath. And I have to say I love underdog stories so much that I have to go with Joey Esports. Yeah, Joey Esports is going to win, and it's not close, guys. It's going to be 4-0, Joey Esports. So.
Coward.
Yeah. No.
You can tell that he's tired.
No coward. No coward.
Doubter.
Joey Esports wins this one. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now, guys. Guys, we made it through the brackets. Joey Esports, for me, Train Joey Esports, PDK Cosmic Castaways, Bowsy Joey Esports, and Swifters on the Joey Esports train as well. And yes, we've said train a lot tonight, guys. We have been live for 2 hours and 55 minutes, and it's been a hell of a podcast. Two things before we go. First and foremost, as you may have saw in announcements earlier, I'm going to hype it up again. If you want to get in on a bracket challenge, Aplom from Devil Dukes has taken on the responsibility of making a bracket challenge for us, and it looks awesome. If you're interested in doing it, go to announcements, grab that form, and fill it out. You need to get it in by tomorrow, so make sure to take care of that as soon as possible. And then in addition to that, we also have our League of Legends tournament. The Tranquility Clash Cup is coming up. Sign up for that end on May 1st. So if you're looking to get into the League of Legends tournament, this is your chance to do it. Finally, before we go, we have our giveaway winner this week. And congratulations to Kraken, who takes the giveaway entry, or who takes the t-shirt giveaway this week, and will be receiving a t-shirt from the Tranquility store. Stay tuned. There will be more giveaways throughout the playoffs, including maybe some special giveaways later on this playoff, so you're not going to want to miss those opportunities to pick up some cool Tranquility merch or better. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. It's been a hell of a ride for us. I am extremely tired, as you can probably tell by my drooping eyes. But thank you so much to Swifters, and obviously to Florida Unchanged and Toxic as well for filling in and playing the role of guests today. And thank you, of course, to Train, PDK, and Bowsy, who have endured the 3-hour slog that has been the Bracketology MEGACAST. So for everybody here, thank you so much for joining with us tonight, and we will see you again soon.
Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.